Well, it's kind of an overcast day here at Yankee Stadium. Jabba Chamberlain is taking his warm-up tosses, trying to avoid those first-inning blues. And we'll take a look at the Twins starting lineup that would like to continue those blues. And it's presented by B&W. Norris Span in center field will lead off. Brendan Harris, the second baseman, bats second. Batting third and DHing Joe Mauer. Justin Morneau at first base will clean up 2 home runs last night. Jason Kubel, the left fielder, is going to bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing right field, Michael Kadire. Brian Busher is the third baseman. He'll hit seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Mike Redmond. And Nick Punto, the shortstop, is going to bat ninth.
There's Jabba Chamberlain on the season. 6 starts, 2-1, 3.89 ERA, 34 innings and 2/3. He's got 17 walks and 34 strikeouts. And the G pitcher scouting report on Jabba. Get out of the gate. A lot of talk about his warm-up routine, his first inning struggles. Changed it up a little bit, trying to get a good first inning, mix and match. We've seen Jabba mix in a very good changeup and a good hook. He's got 4 good pitches, and every start he seems to mix it a little better. And how deep can you go? Pretty self-explanatory. You know, we need to see Jabba, or the Yankees need to see Jabba get a little deeper in the game. First inning is obviously a problem. If he has a good first inning, maybe he can get a little deeper.
Well, let's take a look at the Yankee defense behind Chamberlain, brought to you by Home Depot. Damon, Gardner, and Cabrera left to right in the infield. Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Robinson Cano, the only Yankee to start every game. Nick Swisher's at first, the DH is Teixeira. Cervelli's behind the plate, and Chamberlain is on the mound. Time for baseball here at Yankee Stadium. Place filling up on an overcast day. The lights are on. Chamberlain is ready. Denard Span digs in. And let's do it here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The big right-hander winds, kicks, and deals. There's a strike, and we are underway. Sun is trying to peek through a cloud cover that's been over the stadium for most of the day. They did not take batting practice out on the field. The tarp was covering the field. And the 0-1. Strike 2. Home plate umpire is Marty Foster. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. 61 degrees, 86% humidity, not much wind. The forecast is for late scattered showers. Twins come in at 18-18. The Yankees 1 game over at 18-17. And the 0-2. Tries to push the envelope a bit more outside, and it's 1-2. I told you Marty Foster is behind the plate. At first base is Chad Fairchild. The veteran crew chief John Hirschbeck is at second. Wally Bell is over at third. He was the home plate umpire yesterday, and not many players were thrilled with his job behind the plate. Denard Span swings and misses, tagged out by Cervelli, 1 away.
Tony, we talk about that slider down and into lefties. It becomes out of the zone for a strikeout pitch. There's a good example of it right there. And if you've seen some fastballs away like you did early in the count, that really opens up that zone for the pitcher. It's funny because that's one of those pitches when you watch it on TV or you watch it up here on the prompters, you're like, how does that guy swing at that pitch? But at the plate, when you've seen that fastball at that level, and then all of a sudden that breaking ball, you don't pick up the spin, and it's at the same level, breaks out of the zone.
Pitch to Brendan Harris is upstairs. Let's talk a little bit more about what Jabba did out in the bullpen. Because he seemed like he threw more and sat down and simulated a first inning, David, does that take pitches away from him during the game?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just a matter of adjusting your routine, getting your mindset. I know Joe Girardi said it was more physical in his mind, but I think it's mental as well for Jabba to be able to sit down and then, okay, I'm going to face the first 3 hitters of the game and have your bullpen catcher or your bullpen coach stand in there and simulate a hitter. And I think it's more mindset, just to get yourself ready to start a game.
I mean, did you have an exact number of pitches? I mean, I remember pitching in high school. I'd go out, warm up, and I feel good, let's go. There was no really perfect routine. Did you have an exact amount?
Not really. You tried to time it. At home, obviously, you're pitching the top of the first, in your home ballpark. On the road, it's a little different. I had more problems on the road trying to time myself being ready. As you see Jabba here showing good stuff. That ball's got late life, running inside off the inside corner. But when you're starting on the road, you got to time with your other starter, the home starter, and try to get yourself ready to pitch the bottom of the first. At home, it was a lot easier for me because you go right to the game mount from the bullpen mount.
And the pitch to Harris. Buzzed him up and in to count 3-2. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. And the full count delivery. Breaking ball, strike 3. Harris down looking.
There's something about being a strikeout pitcher that when people come to the ballpark, they're anxious to see the position with 2 strikes. And I don't, it just puts like an exclamation point on an out. It's not like the easy ground ball out. Those strikeouts kind of put the other team on their heels.
You know you got a good slider when it's in the strike zone and has that kind of break. Generally speaking, most guys with strikeout sliders break out of the strike zone. And when you throw a slider that's up, that ball's right down the middle and it's still locked up the hitter. That's when you know you got tight spin.
Here's Joe Mauer, and the pitch is high. On the previous 2 first innings, Jabba struggled, gave up home runs. Aubrey Huff his last time out. Before that, against the Red Sox, Jason Bay. See what Mauer's done. RBIs in 8 straight games. The 1-0. Outside, had a home run into Monument Park in last night's game. But they give him a half a day off today as a DH rather than a catcher.
You know, you read the papers about, Big Papi and Manny Ramirez and all these great hitters. And you're watching 2 of them in the same lineup. I mean, you don't hear a lot of Morneau and Mauer because they play in Minnesota. But these guys, just numbers-wise, hitters-wise, I mean, Cody, you got to look at them as a pitcher and think, how do you get these guys out? They don't have big holes. They're strong. They hit for average. They hit for power.
There's a strike.
It's Minnesota's version of the M&M boys, back to Mantle and Maris. Now, certainly they've got a ways to go to get in that category, but you talk about a 1-2 punch in the middle of the lineup. These 2 guys really get your attention. It's hard to pitch around one guy. I mean, obviously, you got Morneau on deck. You got to pick your poison.
How about that? Java Chamberlain, a 1-2-3 first inning, so whatever they did, it worked on this Saturday afternoon in the Bronx. Java Chamberlain threw 14 pitches. He retired the Twins in order. Twins nothing. And the New York Yankees coming to bat. He's going to base, and the lineup was presented by our good friends at BMW. Derek Jeter, the captain, the shortstop, leads off. Batting second, playing left field, Johnny Damon. Mark Teixeira will DH. He'll hit third. Cleaning up and playing third base is Alex Rodriguez. Nick Swisher gets started first base. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing second base, Robinson Cano. The hero of last night's game, Melky Cabrera, will play right, and he's going to bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing center field, another one of the heroes, 3 hits, is Melky Cabrera, and Francisco Cervelli is going to catch him bat ninth.
There's Nick Blackburn, 6'4", 225. Good size, 7 starts on the year, 2-2, 4.32, 41 innings pitched, only 11 walks and 19 strikeouts. And here's the G Pitcher scouting report. He's a 29th rounder. All you fathers out there, you don't have to be a first rounder like Java. This guy was plucked in 01 in the 29th round. Now he's a big league pitcher and a pretty damn good one. And road woes, he's had trouble on the road. At home, he's 9-3 with a 3.08 ERA. Away, 4-12 with a 5.39 ERA. He knows where it's going. Great control. Doesn't walk a lot of guys. Only had 39 walks in 193 innings last year.
Pitch to Derek Jeter is low 1-0.
After last night's walk episode on both sides, it's good to know a guy can throw strikes out there.
Now, you might wonder, how's a guy who's in a starting rotation in the major leagues, how does he get picked in the 29th round? Did the scouts make a mistake? But Nick Blackburn admits he was in high school. He was just fat. He said, I was a fat guy. He said, scouts didn't look at me. Count 2-1. But he's obviously gotten into great shape, and here he is, a big league pitcher as part of a big league rotation. The 2-1. 2-2.
Joe Mays.
Yeah,
it looks exact same delivery, kind of the same motion, the same sinker. He was pretty successful in Minnesota for a few years and then kind of lost his velocity.
Yeah, Rick Anderson, the pitching coach for the Twins, is an advocate of the two-seam fastball. He had a good one. Actually was involved with the trade. Rick Anderson was involved in the trade when I went to the Mets from the Royals.
Really?
A good pitching coach right there, Rick Anderson, and he had a good sinker and a good two-seam fastball, and he teaches that to that staff. And they've got several guys that throw that pitch with conviction and good location.
And Derek Jeter works a walk to start off the first inning. Let's take a look at the Twins defense, brought to you by Home Depot. That's playing behind Blackburn. In the outfield, we've got Kubel on left, Span at center, and Kadire over at right. Infield, Busher, Punto, Harris, and Morneau. Third to first. Morneau's not made an error in 32 games at first this season. Redmond behind the plate. Blackburn is on the mound. In fact, the Twins have not made an error in their last 9 games. Here's Johnny Damon, struck out looking twice, both on calls he did not like, and he got thrown out on the second strikeout, where he actually pointed out to Wally Bell where he made the mistakes, and that's usually a no-no. That's almost as bad as the magic word.
It's, you know, you end up in the same spot, and that's in the showers, but there's just a few things you cannot, it's just automatic. And anytime you draw a line out there, you might as well just walk to the dugout. Coney, I'm just thinking about that defensively, and I know you've pitched, you know, on good defensive teams, bad defensive teams, and it has to almost become a burden as a pitcher when you know they don't catch the ball behind you.
Well, you know, Paulie, when I was with the Mets, Davey Johnson, then the manager, used to ask guys like me and Dwight Gooden to go for strikeouts and fly balls so he could put his best offensive lineup on the field.
Wow.
You know, sometimes that meant Howard Johnson playing shortstop. We had Juan Samuel playing center field. We had Mackie Sasser catching. Ooh. That was his best offensive lineup, and he expected us to strike guys out and get fly balls.
The 0-1.
Which is probably why I threw about 150 pitches a game when I was with the Mets.
Yeah.
We didn't worry about pitch counts back then. But you're right, Paulie. It affects your mindset. You get deeper in the counts. You go for swing and misses more, and you know who's behind you out there when you're on the mound.
Damon's 10-game hitting streak was snapped with the ejection last night. And that one's looped toward third. And Busher will make the play for the first out.
I don't know if I've seen a batter. I mean, Johnny Damon's off to an unbelievable start, driving the ball out of the park, hitting doubles, doing all this stuff, but get jammed more than he does. And you always say, you know, good hitters get jammed. Johnny Damon can break some bats and hit. I mean, this ball, that's a full swing, and that ball doesn't leave the infield. It's really staying in there and waiting. But like I said, I mean, every once in a while he'll turn on that ball, and he's hit several balls in the second deck of the new Yankee Stadium. So he's got a lot of power with that swing.
There's a strike to Teixeira. Teixeira had a big hit in the 9th inning yesterday to drive in a run. Crept the Yankees to within 1, and then Melky provided the walk-off 2-run single. Teixeira getting half the day off. He's the DH today. Jeter goes. The throw to second. In time. Got him. Good throw by Redmond.
It's a bad sign when you see that umpire just waiting with no call to see if you've held on to the ball. Jeter looks like he got a decent jump, but he almost, as you saw Nick Swisher do last night, kind of got his hands down a little early, and it actually slowed him down. Good call right there.
Jeter got a good jump, but Blackburn's extremely quick to home plate. First time Jeter's been caught this year, Michael, isn't it?
Yes.
Sometimes early in the game, you saw Jeter when his hands hit, they almost kind of stuck and didn't slide. And early in the game, you know, when they get the diamond ready to play, I mean, it's a little more wet, and you know, you don't slide and go through real quick.
Jeter was 7 for 7, I believe, coming into that attempt, and 7 for 8 now.
2-2. June out to right center field. That is trouble. That ball is one hop up against the wall. As Teixeira will go to second with a double. Now the caught stealing looms very large.
Well, these are the things as a Yankee fan that you want to see Teixeira again. He gets a good pitch, and he's had a lot of good pitches the last couple of nights. He stays on that ball just a little bit longer. Doesn't fly out, doesn't drop that back shoulder, drives it into right center field, and you just hope that he's starting to turn that corner where he's going to consistently give you 3 or 4 good at-bats every night.
Get a little mental break, not playing first base, obviously, in the DH spot today. Just concentrate on his at-bats for one day.
There's a strike to Alex Rodriguez.
What a great place to DH, too, because if you think about it, right down the steps in the new stadium here are 2 huge batting cages. You can pretty much just stay loose, hit in between your at-bats. Where in the old stadium, you know, the cage was all the way down at the other hall. So, you know, once you were through your first at bat, you pretty much just sat on the bench or swung the bat in the locker room, and you couldn't keep it going like you're going to be able to here.
We used to have that net in the clubhouse in the old stadium,
nice,
didn't we? You had to watch for ricochets. I'd come in and change my uniform in between innings, get one off the noggin in the clubhouse.
Kevin Long, the hitting coach, always in those indoor batting cages. Even when BP's over, he has extra work down there. And as Paul said, it's right between the clubhouse and the dugout. Might be about 10 feet. The 0-2 just missed outside. Alex had 3 walks yesterday. Check that, 4 walks and 1 strikeout. And he had a big walk in the 9th inning. His run, he got pinch run for by Ramiro Pena, was the eventual winning run. Chopped right back to Blackburn. He goes to first and gets Alex for the final out of the first. No runs are hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We played 1 at the stadium. There's no score in the Bronx. Big birthday yesterday. His 28th birthday in the 2nd inning on a breaking ball by Phil Hughes. He drops that one into the Yankee bullpen. Then a cutter that didn't cut goes into the 2nd deck. And a 2-home run night. And he also had a great defensive play in the 9th inning that looked like it was going to stem the Yankees' tide, but it did not because they continued on. But they took away an RBI single from Nick Swisher. So here is Morneau. And there was a strike. That was his 10th career multi-home run game.
Out of those 11 home runs, 9 of them off of right-handed pitching this year. If I'm facing the Twins, I'm hoping you're lining up the lefties against this lineup, Paul. You want Sabathia and Pettit if you can.
1-1. Now Chamberlain went up and into Span and also comes up and into Morneau. And he's not afraid to try to command the inside of the plate. He's hit a batter with a pitch in each of his last 4 games. And that matches the longest streak for a Yankee pitcher in the past 50 years. You know what the other guys were, Paul? Rick Rhoden, Orlando Hernandez, Randy Johnson, and the guy on your left, David Cone. David, you did it in '98.
That's what I should have did to you, Paul. He should have drilled you a couple times. Opening day. You go 4 for 4 off me on opening day. You should have got one.
I figured I got lucky. You're going to get me out next time, man. He's got an offensive leader. I mean, he leads the team in home run and RBIs, and especially when Maurer was out of the lineup, they needed this guy, and he did it. In second place, I mean, he's a former MVP, and he was second in the MVP voting last year. 23 home runs, 129 RBIs. Michael, you already stole this one. He doubled up last night on his birthday. I appreciate you just snuck over here on my notes for that one, didn't you?
Big scoop for me.
There you go.
That's going to mean a raise.
Any way you look at it, though, he's a pretty good hitter.
So a walk to Morneau by Chamberlain. Let's look at the American Airlines upcoming schedule. 2 more games against the Twins, a wraparound series. Tomorrow at 1, right here on Yes, and Monday at 7, also on Yes. Then the Orioles fly into town. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 7. Tuesday and Thursday on My 9. Wednesday is a Yes Network broadcast. Tomorrow is also the anniversary of David Wells' perfect game. And we will have David in the booth tomorrow. He's actually in New York City this weekend. So if David Cone looks a little tired, that could be the reason why.
We got those guys, and when they're together, we got that 7-second delay working, don't we?
There's a strike.
Still trying to keep him out of jail, Michael.
You've done a good job so far for the most part. Kubal's been red hot. 8 hits in his last 14 at bats. 32 for 85. 1-1. Inside 2-1.
Coney, we were talking about Morneau, and if you think about it, I mean, he's 23 home runs, and you saw some of the power he displayed last night. But he drove in 129 runs with 23 home. I mean, he's very capable of getting up in the mid-30s easily in home runs. So, I mean, this guy has the ability, because he's a 300 hitter, because he hits well with men in scoring position, to drive in, 140, 150 runs when he gets that home run production up where he's going to be.
It's going to be interesting to see him in the new ballpark in Minnesota next year. Kind of an intimate ballpark that's been planned, and you won't have to hit him over the baggie in the Metrodome anymore.
I'll tell you what, though, I can't imagine that being a good hitter's park in April in Minnesota. It's just that's what everybody's thinking about, is the weather in Minnesota in April. But anytime you can open a new outdoor ballpark coming from a dome, I think it's going to be an exciting thing for that city.
2-2. And it's going to be called Target Field. And it's built on just 8 acres of land. Now, Cleveland's ballpark is built on 12 acres of land, and that's a very intimate ballpark. So this one's going to be pretty tiny, and there is no roof, no retractable roof. So games in April, and if they make the playoffs, October, are going to be very interesting. And it's right in downtown Minneapolis. 3-2 off the foot of Kubel.
I figure if he gets too bad, they could just go to the Metrodome and borrow the baggie on top, couldn't you? I mean, that's not a that's like a big parachute. They just blow the wind up. So remember some of the storms you get in that place? You weren't allowed to open the doors. You weren't. There was all kind of things keeping that roof from collapsing. That was always a good thing.
Yeah,
going down to get loose for the game. It got real loud. You go down to get loose for the game, and you're seeing these warnings: "Do not open the door." Warning, warning.
3-2. Line drive, base hit to right field. Morneau will round second. He'll stop right there as Melky comes up throwing. So first and second, nobody out.
Jabba goes with 4 straight off-speed pitches, 2 sliders in a row. As you see, that slider's right there. Maybe too many in a row, same speed. But Jabba loves to throw his slider on 3-2 counts. Tries it 2 times and maybe 1 too many here. And Kubo's a good hitter, especially against right-handed pitching. You can see him just drop the head on that ball. For lefties, probably that's almost the shortest route to the ball. Is either breaking ball or fastball down and in a little bit. You know, why is that? Lefties love that spot.
You know, it's funny, especially with 2 strikes, because you're almost, you know, shortening up to go up the middle, and it does. You talked about it speeds your bat up, and unless it's a really rich, sharp breaking slider, you know, it allows you to stay up the middle, but then you're quick enough to get around it and hammer it.
Pitch to Michael Cuddyer is a strike. The 0-1. Grounded to third. Arod backs up, fires to second, gets one on to first, not in time. So they get the force on Kubel. Cuddyer will reach on the fielder's choice.
A nice play by Arod. Not easy. You see that first hop, that big hop's got a lot of spin on it. He's got to go to the backhand side. Quick flip to second. And Robbie, oh boy, almost a little phantom play there at second. But it's not an easy hop. A lot of top spin, and Arod makes it look easy. And Robbie's quick around the bag.
And I know with 1 out, you don't want to take a lot of chances, but if you're Morneau on third and you see Robbie go ahead and turn that double play, you can almost walk home if you've come off the bag with the throw. So see if Minnesota comes up scoring that run anyway.
There's Brian Busher. Nice backhand stab there by Cervelli. Cervelli's really impressed the Yankees with his game calling, his receiving, and throwing.
He's athletic, you know, and that's not an easy play. When you're setting up down and away for a fastball and you get it down and in the dirt, that's the toughest play for a catcher to react to, because you just don't expect the fastball to be planned to go away and end up down and in the dirt.
Strike. Count 1-1. Busher 3 hits in his last 10 at bats. Joe Creedy had back surgery. Had a stiff back yesterday. Left in the middle of the game. So Busher is playing third today. Creedy's on the bench. 1-1. Good off-speed pitch there by Jabba. Count 1-2. That was a changeup, right?
Yeah, that's a changeup, and he's got a good one. And you know, every start he's starting to get a little more confidence in it. You can see this pitch. This is what Phil Hughes needs. That changeup fading down and away against lefties. And, you know, Phil Hughes tried one last night and ended up throwing it in the dirt. He didn't really come back to it. I'd like to see him try to develop that pitch. Jabba's shown a good feel for it.
Jabba has such an advantage being able to get a strikeout with a man on third base.
Crowd thought he had one there.
I think all pitchers, you know, that you'll see this pitch just miss off the outside corner. All pitchers, you know, love to get outs quick as possible, but there are times in the game, especially like right now, where you have to look for that strikeout, especially with a 2-strike count.
Morneau's at third and Cuddyer's at first.
The slider down and in here, Tony.
Good chance. See Cervelli set him away. No, the thing that impresses me about Jabba is even when he struggled in the first inning, the last 2 starts, when he gets in a jam, he can make a pitch. You know, even if it looks like he's struggling a little bit, he's got that innate ability to really sense the moment and make a quality pitch when he needs to, whether it's that slider down and in or paint a fastball away. He's got that ability.
Right, and if you look back, that time that he spent in the bullpen setting up, I mean, what a great thing to work on big pitches in big parts of the game.
Rip foul.
That's not his good slider there. That ball stayed in the zone a little bit. For a left-hander, that's a good pitch to hit. You see that kind of just hung right in the zone, and that's a ball as a hitter. You step out of the box, you know you got a piece of it, but you should have put that ball in play. I didn't like that changeup, did he, Coney?
Good job of shake off 4 times to get to the pitch he wanted.
Runner goes. That one is driven out to center field. They could get a double play. The catch is made by Gardner. They were telling him to throw to first. He threw home. It's a sac fly. Scoring is Morneau.
You know, the only one that can.
And he's out at second because he rounded second and did not come back and touch the bag. Jeter heads up, called for the ball, and Ron Gardenhire is going to come out and argue. And he is talking with John Hirschbeck. We'll see it on a replay, see if in fact he did it. He slides and then, wow, I don't know. Looked like his foot was on the bag. Well, the argument is on. I don't believe the run counts. I'm not quite sure. We'll check that out in just a moment. Second base, take another look at it. You see Kadire sliding into second, made a move toward third, but then it looks like he still has his foot on the bag and then retraces.
Yeah, he did cross home plate.
Well, they do not have the run up on the board here at the stadium, but as far as we can tell, that run counts. Now they do put the run up, so it's up.
And if you look at that play and you say, you know, why didn't Gardner throw the ball to second base as a fielder? You know, you're intent on catching the ball. You're thinking you've got to play. The only one that can communicate with you is the left fielder, and that's Johnny Damon. And because he's got to play in front of you. And from a distance, it looks like, you know, he didn't get over to let Gardner know. But they ended up turning a double play.
So it's a sac fly for Busher, and the run does score. And it's 1-0 Twins. And you see everybody's pointing to first, because if you throw to first, even if he does retract.
Yeah, see, Damon should be all the way over there by the center fielder, just to scream, you know, that he's got a chance at first base. But it's so hard because you're not going to hear any of the infielder. The left fielder still got to play involved. You can get over here and let him know, because Gardner's thinking he's got to go try to get that guy at home.
Now you saw both Arod and Cano pointing. Does an outfielder not see that, Paul? The infielders pointing.
Not when you're. I mean, not when you're setting up your steps to make a play at the plate and things like that. Again, you see Damon. He's yelling, but he's not. You know, Gardner didn't hear him. You got to get over there as an outfielder and scream as loud as you can and get closer. Kind of a weird play right there, Cody. We had a lot going on.
And Nick Swisher, who's been striking out a lot lately, strikes out again for the first out.
I tell you, these first two games, Cody, we have seen more good sliders down in, and we've also seen the misses end up in the second deck. So I don't know if that's just a tough pitch for a pitcher to make, but when you make it the right one, boy, you get a strikeout with it, but if you miss against those lefties, especially in this new stadium, the ball's in the seats.
Yeah, there's a risk reward with that pitch. Obviously, that's why you get strikeouts with it, because lefties see that ball down and then and tend to offer at it. But if you don't get it where you want to, boy, that's a dangerous, high-risk pitch.
That's a bad sound to you, isn't it? Oh, Michael, the sun's breaking through. We haven't had a weather forecast in a half an inning from him.
You'll get one. Now, I looked at that play at second, and I understand the rule you have to retrace your steps, but he never really had his foot off the bag, although he moved toward third. I don't think that was a good call by Hirschbeck.
That's kind of iffy, as Coney said, but it looked like that he was on the bag, but then he also did make a step past the bag, and then his next step wasn't on the bag again. It went back on the dirt. So
it's almost like it's almost like if you run.
Now they're both.
See, the foot's on the bag there, and then he heads back.
Yeah, that. I think you got me, Michael. I got to agree with you there. That's a tough call.
3-0. There's a strike.
Well, I equate it sort of like a play at first base. You know, if the ball is overthrown to the first baseman and you make a move towards second base and you don't get back to the bag, you get tagged out. So it's almost like that interpretation by Hirschbeck was as if the runner made a move towards third.
High fly ball center field. Span is there. 2 outs.
Well, he must have had a good explanation, because Gardenhire didn't argue too much, and he went right back to the dugout. So
I think when he said the run counts, then he said
that helps.
He helped out. Yeah. Tomorrow's starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios, over 100 HD channels and the fastest internet. This is Fios. This is big. Kevin Slowey, 5-1, 4.91, and AJ Burnett, who hasn't won in a month. He's 2-1 with a 5.36. Our coverage begins at noon, and first pitch right around 107. Has last night's hero, Melky Cabrera. Shows bunt and takes a strike. Laced into left field, coming on is Kubo, and he makes the play on the run for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning for Nick Blackburn and the Twins. We played 2 here at the stadium. 1-0 Minnesota on yes. Jose Veras and Damaso Marte get a lesson in salsa dancing. Then tomorrow morning on an all-new episode, go fishing with Sabathia, Bruni, and Swisher. Get hooked today after the postgame, and an all-new tomorrow morning at 11:30 only on Yes. Well, we go to the 3rd inning. On the Modell's scoreboard, it's 1-0 Twins. Modell's is the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. The 1-0 to Redmond. Fouled away. Now, if you're keeping score at home on the play in the second inning, a sac fly goes to Busher, and the double play is 8-8-2-6. And that is the official scoring on that sac fly. Now, Mike Redmond has not had a home run in 358 at-bats. Only 2 other players, active players in Major League Baseball, have a longer streak without a home run. One of them is a former Yankee. Miguel Cairo's gone 798 at-bats, and Reggie Willits of the Angels 589. And there's that list.
You think, Cairo is a little singles hitter, but Redmond, you would think, would pop one, especially in Minnesota.
And now he strikes out looking. So now it's 359, Paul.
And counting.
Nice slider right there, no question from Redmond. If you're looking for a velocity check on Java, he came out in the first inning, topping out at 95 miles an hour. He's been 92, 93, up to 95 early in this game, and we've seen him pick it up, his velocity over his last several starts. And it's definitely better in the first inning than carrying his velocity so far.
I'll tell you what he's done. He's commanded that inside part of the plate, too, to numerous hitters here, and that's why you're getting a lot of those sliders just looking at strike 3. Now, let's face it, when you throw 95, 96 miles an hour, you can command that inside part. It's not like that sinker ball pitcher that shows you inside that won't throw strikes in there.
When the guy was throwing really hard, like 95 to 100, were you ever afraid?
You had to honor so much more. You have to honor that ball inside because you have to cheat to get to it. I mean, a guy that throws 87 and he says he's going to pitch in, well, go ahead and pitch in because you can get to it. But those guys that have that extra mile an hour with 95 plus, it's just so hard to get to, and it just opens up so much of the outside part of the plate.
But you weren't afraid of getting hit with a.
You know what? I got hit by guys who threw hard, and I got hit guys that were. It hurts the same. It's not like you can tell your elbow tells 98 to 92. I mean, they all hurt.
Punto redirects that pitch into center field for a base hit. Pesky hitter, 1-out single.
Punto, Jaba's trying to come up and in, and he gets it up, maybe not quite in, and Jaba knows it right away. That's nice hitting. Be able to cover that pitch, short, quick stroke, up in the zone. Definitely let her high, get on top of that. Look at that tomahawk volley.
Yeah, that's a good piece of hitting. And you saw Jaba's reaction, and that's a ball that's supposed to bust him off the plate. And as a hitter, as a pitcher, when you're trying to bust him off the plate and you give up a hit too, that irritates you.
Right back up the middle. Jeter stabs and flips to Cano. Got him. Good play by Jeter.
Tony, you'll see that looked like Java went for it and then pulled away from it. And that's a hard thing to do, thinking they'll turn 2 for him. But she initially went after him, and he just pulled away from it, thinking this might be a double play ball. But that ball went right up the middle. Gave Derek Jeter a chance to make a good play, a tough play. Because you know why that's a hard play? Because that's one you can't practice in batting practice. How many times do you run behind the bag and I don't know if he got him or not, but that's a good defensive play by Derek Jeter.
No argument by Punto. Jeter ranging far up the middle, and here's Brendan Harris. Span is a threat to go. I'll tell you what, the Twins just have not had much luck here at Yankee Stadium. Since 2002, they are 3-20 against the Yankees here in the Bronx. They've been outscored in those games 133 to 71. They've lost 8 consecutive series against the Yankees, and they've lost 8 of the last 9 games here in the Bronx against the Yanks. Span goes, popped up, right field. Cabrera in toward the line, makes the play, and that'll do it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. It's 1-0 Minnesota. Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. And by IOTV. IOTV offers you incredible picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV. Well, we go to the bottom of the third inning on the Modell's scoreboard. It's 1-0 Twins. Modell's is the official sporting goods retailer of the New York Yankees. Brett Gardner will lead it off. Big night for him last night, taking over for Johnny Damon. A single, a triple, and an inside-the-park home run. And Joe Girardi smartly puts him right back in the lineup today to carry over some of that hot streak. 256 he's up to. A double away from the cycle yesterday.
We talked about it. I mean, there were probably 3 of the best at-bats he's had all year. Just look comfortable at the plate, and then, you know, only getting 3 at-bats coming off the bench, not thinking you're playing. This right here, I mean, a good piece of hitting, but he got a big break there where he got to use his wheels. If you think about it, Michael, we talked about last night, that's as loud as this stadium's been, I think, this year. It's a play you don't see a lot. It's an exciting play for the fans. And you got to give Robbie Thompson credit for wheeling him in and not, you know, playing it safe and holding him at third base.
I thought that easily was the best crowd of the year here in terms of emotion and into it and electricity. And it wasn't just because of the 9th inning. It was even before that. And it was a long game, but it didn't feel that long because there was an energy to the place. And if the inside the park home run wasn't enough, well, then he decided to go for 3 on this one. And this is after a slip at first base. Right there, I'm stopping at first, but he gets up. And he's standing up at third with a triple. Now, Gardner has a 1-2 count on him. He has 20 hits this year. 12 of them have come with 2 strikes. Slow roller and grabbed there by Blackburn. And there's one away. That's going to bring up Francisco Cervelli. And boy, Cervelli's done a nice job. The Yankees are the only team in the major leagues that have used 4 catchers this year because the 2 catchers on the roster are hurt, Posada and Molina. So they called up Cervelli and Cash. Cash caught last night. Cervelli's done a nice job offensively, too, which I think has really surprised people. He has 6 hits in his last 17 at-bats. Hit 190 at Double-A. And he's hitting .316 here in the big leagues. Never any doubt that he could catch. They think he can catch. But if he can hit it all, he's got a future. The 1-0.
He almost looks like a young Tony Pena. You can tell Tony Pena's been working him because very enthusiastic, very demonstrative in calling his game back there. Got a good arm, likes to show it off, throwing the ball around after outs are made. Tony Pena was probably the most demonstrative catcher I saw in the big leagues. I mean, he would scream at his pitchers, you know, with his targets, with his sign giving.
He loved to talk to hitters too. I didn't know if he just liked to talk or if he was trying to bug you during your at bat, but he'd sit back there and just jabber the whole at bat.
He's still a pretty good talker.
Yeah. Half the time you couldn't even understand him. It was just talking.
I saw Tony Pena catching Roger Clemens one time, and Roger was trying to shake him off. And Tony just said, quit giving signs. Said, go ahead, throw whatever you want. I'll catch your stuff. You don't like what I'm calling? Just throw your own game. I'll catch it.
Tries to tie him up, a check swing, and they said he went. Chad Fairchild said that's strike 3.
I'll tell you what, you look at the movement on this pitch. Blackburn's been throwing that ball that's running in real hard to righties.
Blackburn's got a good sinker. His velocity checks in the low 90s, 89 to 92 with that 2-seam sinker. Got a good idea where it's going. You know, with Blackburn, it's pretty simple. You know, Mel Stoudemire used to talk about first pitch strikes. And in his career, Nick Blackburn, after the count is 1-0, opposing hitters are hitting 342 off of him. And after the count is 0-1, it's 253, almost a 100-point difference just on the first pitch, whether it's a strike or a ball.
Here's Derek Jeter, his second at bat. Now, there's also a huge disparity when it comes to Blackburn. First pass through the order and then second pass. First pass batters are 179 against him. Second pass, 361. How do you explain that? Outside.
You talking to me, Michael?
I'm just talking in general. That was a general question. If you'd like to engage,
just looking at Ryan down there on the corner.
Well, you know, I think that just comes from maturity and, you know, second time through the order. Maybe he's pounding that sinker early. He throws a lot of first pitch strikes. You can see him this time around. He's throwing a lot more breaking balls first pitch. So maybe that's just the ability to pitch backwards to give hitters different looks. He's got outstanding control of that two-seam fastball, and he likes to pound it. But big league hitters are going to adjust to that over time. You got to be able to pitch backwards and throw your breaking ball for strikes early in the count.
I think you said also, you talked about his breaking ball, you talked about his sinker. That's 2 pitches. And as the game goes on, you know, sinker after sinker and a breaking ball once in a while, I don't care even if it's a good sinker. You know, you're going to get a beat on it as a hitter.
And Jeter walks on 4 pitches, so he walks for the second time. Hey fans, it's time for the Toyota text poll. Today's question is, who's going to win the American League Central? And the choices are, well, the teams in the American League Central. Tigers, Royals, Twins, White Sox, Indians. You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rate supply.
Might be an order right there.
It's tough.
Huh?
They all have flaws. They all have things that help them. Should be wide open.
Well, it's similar throughout baseball, all the divisions. Even if you look at the American League East, even the bottom division teams are getting better. You know, Baltimore's got a good lineup. We've seen what Toronto's done so far this year with Cito Gaston as the manager. It's the same in the Central. The Royals are no longer the doormat. You know, the teams are, every division, the parity's getting better and better.
Yeah, you go into Kansas City for a 3-game series and you get Greinke one of those games. I mean, that's going to be a tough series because chances are, you know, if he throws well, you know, you're looking at a 2-game series because he's going to shut you out. So, you know, one of the better divisions is in the National League, is the National League Central. And you've got 4 teams over there with Milwaukee, St. Louis, the Reds. I mean, Chicago, all those teams are winning now. Every once in a while, it's just the luck of the draw of what division you're in. Then you look at the Dodgers, and then you know what the National League West is. I mean, they might run away with that before the All-Star game.
Well, some people thought that the loss of Manny Ramirez would bring them down to earth, but the 9 games since Manny left, they're 5-4, so they're kind of treading water, and they got up to such a great start. That might be enough. I was driving in and I was listening to Buster Only of ESPN on the radio, and like they were giving the teams that are over 500 this year and weren't over 500 last year and asking a pretender or contender, and he kept saying contender. And the host said, Jesus, anybody? He said, you know what? There's parity in baseball. So everybody is legitimate. I mean, everybody has a chance to win. You can't say somebody's really a pretender. I mean, did anybody in their prognostications think that the Blue Jays are going to be where the Blue Jays are? Now, they might cut back down to earth because the pitching, all the injuries might catch up with them. But, you know, stranger things have happened. No one thought that the Rays were ready to take off the way they did.
Nobody thought that they'd be where they are now this year. Everybody talked them up. But, you know, their pitching right now is a big question mark. I mean, offensively, they got a couple guys that are, you know, world beaters right now. But, you know, when you got Longoria and Pena having the years they're having, and you're not accumulating wins when they're going through their hot spots, that as an organization worries you, because you got to figure those guys will cool off at some point.
Well, the Yankees, despite all of the issues they've had, really just 3 games back in the loss column behind the Blue Jays and the Red Sox in second. Count 3-1 on Damon, and now it's full, so that's going to release Jeter at first. Mark Teixeira waits on deck. Jeter goes, pitches inside, another walk. And because of these walks, Blackburn has thrown 50 pitches. .27 strikes, 23 balls.
Little uncharacteristic for Nick Blackburn. That Yankee lineup will do it to you as well.
Here's Teixeira, doubled in the first. Way out in front of that one, rips it foul.
Going to see Blackburn, as we were talking about, Paul. He go to his curveball first pitch. He's done that a lot more. You know, I call him breaking balls sometimes because he has a slider and a curveball, and some guys' sliders look like hard curves. And sometimes the cop out is to call it a breaking ball, but that's a first pitch hook right there. He's got two different kinds of breaking balls, a slider and a curve. He's using it more in the first pitch situations here.
High fly ball, right center field, stand back, track, wall, see ya! A 3-run home run from Mark Teixeira, and the Yankees lead 3-1.
We talked about Mark Teixeira trying to get something going, and that ball ends up on the outside part of the plate. He pulled off the first pitch and pulled it foul, stayed on that ball a little bit longer, and I think he's going to find that he doesn't have to try to hit home runs in this ballpark. He's strong enough right there. He stays on that ball a little bit longer, gets good extension. 3-run homer. It'll put you in a good mood for the day, Coney.
And the pitch to Arod bounces in the dirt back to the screen, and Rick Anderson wants to talk with Blackburn.
Well, you see Redmond wants the ball in here. The ball ends up way over here. It's that two-seam swing back pitch. He's trying to start it at Teixeira's hip and run it over the inside corner. As you see Redmond setting up in, he wants that ball in. That ball runs almost middle away. Look how much he has to reach his glove. He was looking for it here. It ends up over here. Sometimes those two-seam fastballs will get flat and run out over the plate. Teixeira just hammers them.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Well, Mark Teixeira looking like a little bit of a different player since he got into that argument in the 8th inning yesterday. He got the big RBI single in the 9th inning. And then today in the first, he doubled, and now a 3-run home run. Swing and a miss. Now, Teixeira's 2 for 2 right now. He's 9 for his last 24. And, you know, everyone would agree, and Mark would agree, he hasn't had a good start, but he has 8 home runs and 23 runs batted in. So the production's not that far off. The pitch inside.
His production should just continue to get better, obviously, because A-Rod's hitting behind him now. As soon as he gets going offensively, I mean, as a pitcher, Coney, you have to try to get outs before A-Rod, so Teixeira's going to get pitch after pitch.
Well, Paul, you're still at that time, you know, in terms of at-bats in the season so far, where your average can still jump up pretty quickly. You know, where was it? About the 150, 200 at-bat point?
Yeah, when you start looking up at that scoreboard, it only goes up 1 point or 2 with a hit. Then you know you've pretty much set your numbers for the year. But sure, anytime you know you're up under a couple hundred at-bats, you can get on a hot streak. And I've seen Derek Jeter do it. I mean, he's come up 40, 50 points in a couple weeks. I mean, you can do a lot of things early in the year. I think the production numbers are the ones that are really hard to make up. When you get off to a slow start, don't hit a couple home runs for a month, and then the next thing you know, you're always trying to play catch up, and that can be a burden on a player all year to try to get back where you're supposed to be.
The 2-2. 3-2. With 2 hits today, and David, this is exactly what you're talking about. Teixeira went from 213 to 226. So he jumped up 13 points with 2 hits.
It seemed like he was 190 less than a week ago.
This is the 30th pitch of the inning upcoming. And Alex is out looking. Alex not swinging the bat that much. He's taking a lot of pitches as he's still trying to get his timing down. Teixeira's timing is down. And he hits a 3-run home run to give the Yankees a 3-1 lead as we head to the 4th. Involves Brett Gardner. Brett Gardner hit the first inside the park home run here at the new Yankee Stadium. Which player hit the last inside the park home run at the old Yankee Stadium?
You said this last night, didn't you?
I was just thinking we probably gave that away. So you have to listen to all the games in order to get it.
I was actually listening at that point of the game last night.
So if you actually were listening and you get this now, you've gotten 3 this year. You're out of control.
That's right. I'm out of my slump.
It was only a 3-year slump, too. But that shows you how good you are, because that's like they say, pitchers that lose 20 games, you got to be great to get the ball every 5 days.
It's true. To be able to stay in the game that long and keep getting the ball.
Long-term contracts are good, too, Mike.
You got one of those rare lifetime deals, right?
Tag along with you.
Yeah.
I'm the addendum on your contract.
So, Paulie, we saw Brett Gardner last night slip around first base and still end up with a triple. I still remember that slide you had in Cleveland in the playoffs in '97. Nice. That double in the ninth, you about broke your neck sliding in second base.
More of desperation than anything else, kind of a trick slide.
Given out to center field and deep. Going back, Gardner. Still back. Track. Wall. He deposits another one into Monument Park. Back-to-back Monument Park home runs on successive games by Joe Mauer. What power.
I tell you what, you could pay to watch these guys hit. Mauer, I mean, this ball right here, this is a 95-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. But this isn't a ball that, you know, he hits up in the air. This is a 420-foot line drive. We talked about it last night that they put a net over the things because, you know, Babe Ruth Stone out there would be getting gun shy. He's shooting lasers out there. You know what the difference is? You see that, you know, Mauer, he was away and he came back ready to play, has done nothing but just hit since he's been back in the lineup. And on the other hand, you see Alex Rodriguez, both unbelievable offensive players, that just hasn't hit that offensive groove yet.
This is how much of a difference Mauer makes to this lineup. Since coming back, they averaged 6 runs per game. Before he got here, 4.23. It's almost 2 runs per game. That's what he means to the team. Now, obviously, he doesn't account for that alone, but he lengthens the lineup. He makes Morneau a different hitter. He's a great player. Upstairs.
There's just certain guys that come up from the minor leagues. You see some highly touted prospects, and sometimes they work out or not, Paulie. But when he came up, Mauer came up, you just knew he was a player. Kind of like when Chipper Jones came up, everybody was talking, this guy's just a player. The players were saying that. We said that about Derek Jeter when he broke into '96 as a rookie. It's like, this guy's just a player. There's something about him, the way he carries himself, and he's legit.
Count is full on Morneau. Popped up left side. Arod gives it a look. Runs out of room.
Well, it's a gut check for a power pitcher when you think about Java. You throw your good fastball and it goes dead center field. You know, if you're a sinker ball pitcher and a guy takes you deep on a decent sinker, but when you're an aggressive power pitcher, you're not used to seeing your fastball turned around like that.
Popped up again.
Yeah, sometimes it'll chase you right off of your fastball, Paul. You start going to number 2,
exactly.
Number 3, and even though you probably have a good fastball, if somebody hits it like that, you almost lose a little confidence in it. I think we saw that a little bit with Phil Hughes last night. He threw one changeup and it ended up about 50 feet in the dirt. I'm not sure we saw another one the rest of the night.
I don't remember.
And Morneau works a walk. Let's take a look at the Joe Mauer home run again. Here's the pitch from Jabba Chamberlain. And it's a Coors Light freeze cam. Freeze it! Right down the middle.
Well, I tell you what, though, I don't care where the pitch is. Look where everything is. I mean, it's everything.
Full
there.
extension.
Yeah.
That lead arm was fully extended to the ball.
You know, it's a good thing, too, to see a superstar type player hit a home run and put his bat down and run the bases. Didn't have that act coming out of the box, nothing. Just ran around the bases, got ready to go up and hit again next couple innings.
So you're not up for styling?
I'm not a big fan of the acts that come out there sometimes. And you see it in all of sports. It's not just baseball.
Let's see how Maurer left the box.
I mean, that's a 430-foot line drive. Put your head down, run the bases.
I was always amazed, all kidding aside, when you would hit a home run, it's like you would drop your head down, almost like you were embarrassed, and just run to first.
Well, it got to be kind of a reaction, but the ones that, it's funny, the ones that I really dropped my head down, I was like saying, yes to myself, thinking, I know I got that one. It wasn't like I was embarrassed or anything, because believe me, it's a great feeling. But most of your home runs, as soon as you make contact, you know they're gone or not. It's the ones that you've got to kind of wish out, that you kind of stare at the whole way out. Nothing worse than that one that you hook right down the line, and just at the last minute or so, or last second or so, they hook foul.
Two-1 to Kubel. In your hometown, you have a wide receiver who changed the name to Ocho Cinco. You must like that. I could see Paul Bente Uno.
Yeah, again, I mean, it's what a lot of the sports have come to because of Sports Center and all these things, and the kids love to watch it. But when players are at home thinking of ways to celebrate after they score, that to me is strange.
Kubel pops it up. Johnny Damon toward the line, and can't make the play. It really hit the wall hard. And he's looking up at the sun.
Connie, every once in a while, and you'll see his reaction. I mean, it's a new ballpark. You got about the same room, but you just whiff it, and you just wonder, he just lost it in the sun. What are you going to do?
Almost overshot him a little bit.
Yeah.
The ball's behind him.
You almost just got to laugh. What other?
The Don Melky guy's looking for the ball.
I tell you, as an outfielder, you're just glad that you lose a ball like that. It's a foul ball. There's nothing worse than whiffing that thing and then have to run and go chase it while the guy's running the bases.
Swing and a miss. Fourth strikeout for Jabba, first out of the inning. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Audi dealers. Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees.
That was a nice comeback by Jabba right there. He doesn't get the play from Damon. He fell down 3-1. Teixeira hits the home run last inning. Now you come back. Maurer takes you deep to center. You get a chance to go first and second. Nobody out there. He gets a big strikeout. Picks up Damon.
Breaking ball strike.
It's funny, he's almost gone backwards where he was beginning of the game, where he was striking people out with his slider and starting them off with fastballs. That last time he got the slider early in the count, and then he struck him out with a fastball. And you could see it was kind of a weak hack. That's a guy that's looking for that breaking ball.
The 0-1. Now, there's always going to be a debate about Jabba because he was so great out of the bullpen, and so many fans are kind of split.
Here you see this. I mean, here's a guy that's looking breaking ball. He gets a fastball. That's just a defensive swing, and you can see a guy guessing in there. You see his front hip opening up, looking for that slider down and in. Good fastball just locks you up.
Count 0-2 on Kadire. Popped up and out of play. Anyway, to finish that point, reliever, starter. And the Yankees seem dedicated, health permitting, that job is going to be a starter, period. And if you look at him, 18 starts in his big league career, 5-2, 3.15. Now, you can say, well, he didn't get decisions in 11 starts, but remember, in a lot of the starts, when you see the pitch count there for Chamberlain, a lot of the starts, he was on an innings limit. So he didn't even have a chance to stay in there for a win or a loss. Swing and a miss. to Dyer down on strikes. But the thing that jumps out at me, David, a 3.15 ERA in this day and age pitching the American League, that's a real good starter.
Well, it is, and he's progressing. You know, he hasn't even had a full season of starts. You see here, and he goes. That's a wicked curveball right there. We talked about his slider. You know, I could cop out and say that's a good breaking ball, Paulie, but that looks more like a curveball to me. And he's got two different kinds of breaking balls. You can see how far out in front he was. A little bigger break, a little less velocity. Nice location.
There's a strike to Brian Busher.
Hey, Michael, you talked about it. I mean, the first couple starts, I mean, he was out there for 3 innings. It wasn't like he was able to even get into a decision in the game.
He's about to throw a 70th pitch right now here in the 4th inning, which is not a bad economical limit as Busher flies out to Brett Gardner for the final out of the 4th. But the Twins get 1 run closer. Joe Mauer, the DH today, 2-time American League batting champion, goes into Monument Park for the 2nd time. He likes it out there. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 3-2 Yanks. Ricky Leday was the last Yankee. So Chris Duffy, maybe we have some video proof for you, Paul. Melky misjudged it, and Chris Duffy was off to the races. Could have stood up, but he kind of slid to end up the run, and Melky said, "Oh, that's not good." So that was the last inside the park home run at the old yard.
That was a straight knuckleball right out there to Melky. You see that ball moving? Boy, no spin on that line drive.
And there's a strike to Robinson Cano.
It's funny you say that, Conan, because there is, every once in a while, a hitter will hit the ball so square that there is no spin on the ball. And spin is what keeps it true. You can read it and know which direction it's going.
Ground ball to Punto.
But every once in a while, they'll square that ball so much that I mean, if you've watched Tim Wakefield pitch, it comes at you the exact same way as a knuckleball. And boy, I tell you what, your heart stops as an outfielder when you don't see that ball spinning.
So Cano's 0 for 2, and that's going to bring up Melky. They walked Cano intentionally in the 9th inning yesterday to load the bases with 2 outs and pitched to Cabrera, and he dunked a single into left center to win the game. Joe Girardi said after the game yesterday, it was the type of games we've been losing here. So it's nice to get off to a good start. They would have been 4-8 in series openers. And you always want to win the first game of a 4-game set, because if you lose the first game, it's awfully hard to win that set. You got to win the next 3 in a row. Joe Girardi also explained why he got into a screaming match with Gardner. He said because he was yelling at my player, and I wasn't yelling at his player, so I told him, don't yell at my player. Gardner was yelling at Teixeira. Gardenhire, I keep saying Gardner. Gardenhire was yelling at Teixeira at the play at first base. But Girardi was not yelling at Carlos Gomez. Kind of got heated for a while, and maybe that jump-started the Yankees. You never know. 2-2. Right back to Blackburn. Takes his time, and that'll do it. So he works a 1-2-3 inning, and he retires the Yankees on just 8 pitches. Let's take it to the 5th. 3-2 Yankees. And Mike Redmond will lead off against Jabba Chamberlain. And the pitch outside. 71st pitch for Jabba. Redmond struck out looking on a great breaking ball in the 3rd inning. Yankee runs on one swing. A home run by Mark Teixeira. High drive left field. Johnny Damon will battle the sun and put that away for the first out. Well, there's how it breaks down for Jabba. 14 pitches in the 1st inning, 1-2-3, so he got over those 1st inning woes. He struggled in the 2nd, a nice easy 3rd, struggled in the 4th, and now 2 pitches to retire Redmond here in the 5th. Here's Nick Punto. And a strike.
You know, Michael, we're going to see the world champion Phillies come here to Yankee Stadium next weekend, and they're kind of turning it around. You know, they chose not to sign Burrell and Raul Ibanez, and Ibanez has got 2 home runs a day.
Lofted into center field. Brett Gardner. 2 outs.
Ibanez is a guy that, you know, if you're a trade for, you really know what you're getting. I mean, he's a good, solid player. He's a good, solid hitter. You would think going into that kind of ballpark, leaving Seattle is only going to help his offensive numbers. Every once in a while, you see organizations that really know what they're doing, and to bring in a type of player like him, you know, is only going to help that team.
I thought it'd be a big weekend with the Phillies. The world champions coming here to Yankee Stadium, and they're down in Washington playing right now. They're up 6-2 in the 5th, and Ibanez has got 2 home runs, as I mentioned, and Jason Worth having a pretty good year. He's got a homer too for him today.
Well, it's going to be a big homestand. This is a 10-game homestand. 4 against the Twins, 3 against the Orioles, and then interleague play begins as Coney told you, 3 games against the world champion Phillies. Get to see great players like Jimmy Rollins and Brad Lidge, Ryan Howard, Chase Utley. Count 1-1.
Fighting Phils.
Good old Charlie Manuel.
Do you like playing in Philly? There's something about staying downtown and playing the old Veterans Memorial that just didn't suit my. I just didn't enjoy it. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, the vet. You know, it was that bowl-style stadium. That was a dual-purpose stadium. Played football. But that was some hard AstroTurf volley in the old vet. Maybe the hardest in the league. That
Great
turf.
lights, though. Remember how bright the lights were? It was one of the better hitters parked around. You could see the ball well, but right by the end of the 3-game series, your toes were killing you for playing on that hard AstroTurf. The new AstroTurf is so much better. That old stuff was like running around in the parking lot.
Imagine playing football on that ball.
No, especially when it's cold out. This stuff can only be hard.
Popped up left field. Johnny Damon on the run into foul territory. Slides, can't make the play, and then hugs the target.
Every once in a while, as an outfielder, you're like, all right, enough already. You know, I've lost the ball in the sun. Now I'm going to go sliding into the tarp. Good effort, just can't get there. Got a long way for them.
Tarp used to be on the right field side last year. Yeah, now it's on the left field side. Hey, Coney, didn't you strike out 18 batters last game of the year in Veterans Stadium once?
19.
19, I'm sorry.
It's St. Louis, what was that?
I robbed you.
It's Philly, yeah. It was the last day of the season. They had a bunch of September call-ups in the lineup.
Yeah, I don't
One of
care.
those days, both teams were out of the race.
It could have been a Little League, Coney. You get 19 strikeouts. I bet you have pretty good stuff.
We're 2-2. Check swing, did he go? No, he did not. Wally Bell didn't move a muscle.
It's a big inning and a big pitch right here for Jobby. You don't want to walk this guy. You know, we showed his pitch count. You get through the 5th inning, not only are you lined up for the win, but you get a chance to run back out there for the 6th and get a little deeper in the game.
Boy, Span really does a good job of that, huh?
I tell you, we were watching it last night, how he just becomes perfectly silent when the pitcher releases, like he's almost going to take the pitch, and he just uses his hands to try to make contact, especially with 2 strikes. Just goes from, I mean, usually you'll see those hands move away from the body to kind of get in a loaded position. His hands just stay right at the end, just stay absolutely still. Where he makes up his mind where he's going to try to swing it. He'll lay off a lot of those pitches. And to me, that's a tough pitch to throw a guy there. I mean, here's a little slap hitter that you got to try to just absolutely blow away, or get him to pop up a ball, but to walk him on a breaking ball, it's kind of a tough pitch. But you've said it, Coney. He loves that breaking ball 3-2.
Got a good one. It's been a big strikeout pitch for him. But you're right, Paulie. When I see those left-handed leadoff hitters swinging like you described, I want the ball up in the zone or in. Try to get him to hit the ball in the air, keep the ball off the ground because he obviously has good speed. Guys like Vince Coleman when he was leading off with the Cardinals, and Ozzie Smith. I try to get those guys up in the zone and in. Make them hit the ball in the air or pound them in.
And even if they get one good, it usually ends up at the warning track, and it's still an out, and you're in the dugout.
Brendan Harris 0 for 2 today. Struck out looking and flew out to right. Runner goes. Strike. Throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base for Span.
Span's got that kind of speed and a good jump. Jabba's not particularly quick to home plate. Cervelli gets off a good throw. It's just to the third base side of the bag. Not sure if a good throw would have got him. But Cervelli's quick, and that's got a lot of mustard on it, just on the wrong side. And Span's probably in there anyway. He's got that kind of speed, and he had a good jump.
9th stolen base for Span. He's been caught twice. He's the team leader. So Cervelli goes out and talks with Chamberlain.
Wow.
Very odd hack.
Looks like he was right on that one. Every once in a while, even a major league hitter will just absolutely, and that's a good thing about getting 3 strikes. You can just give one of them away, but right there, that's just like, oh, well.
Like you're swinging underwater right there.
Exactly.
He's trying to swing in a pool.
Every once in a while, somebody will come up to you and say, you know, what kind of hack was that?
I saw every one of your Yankee bats, and I never saw you swing like that. Every one.
You made a lot of outs here, didn't you?
True, but never swinging like that. 1-2. Missed outside.
Jabba had a chance to have a 1-2-3 inning. Takes a shot, fastball away, just off. Good pitch. Now you're in danger. You see this pitch is off the plate, definitely in the batter's box. Now you're in a situation where you're in danger of tying this game up. You had a chance to get out of the 5th, keep your pitch count around 80, get a little deeper in the game. Now you got trouble.
The inside move towards second, chasing Span bat.
Now, Michael, you just said you saw every one of my at-bats, so you've been watching baseball a long time. Have you ever seen the inside move work? That's my question, because I've never seen it work.
I've never seen it work, but Al Leiter swears by it.
He swears by it?
Yeah, he said that it actually keeps the guy closer. Do you agree?
Well, yeah, that's the idea.
That was the idea. Fastball right down the middle. Brendan Harris is down looking. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We're halfway through. Yankees 3 and the Twins 2. As we head to the bottom of the 5th, and Brett Gardner will lead off against Nick Blackburn. It'll be Gardner, Cervelli, and Jeter. And a strike.
Jabba really retained his velocity. That last pitch right down the middle at 96 miles an hour to get the strikeout and get out of that jam.
Rounded to short. Charging is Punto. And there's one away. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by J&R Music and Computer World, and by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees.
This is going to be a hard thing, but if you really have to tell Gardner, that's a good at bat. You want him trying to hit the ball the other way on the ground, and you watch that ball was right at the shortstop, but if there's any bobble, anything whatsoever, he's going to be safe. And it's frustrating as a hitter because you want to get a hit every time up, and You're not successful slapping it the other way, but that's overall in his career how he's going to be successful.
Cervelli serves one down the right field line, but foul. Well, the general feeling, Paul, is if he makes the shortstop move to the right, he's going to beat it up. He just has to make him move to the right a bit. The organ is playing the Tarantella here at Yankee Stadium because Francisco Cervelli played for Italy in the WBC. And he lost one deep to right center field. Giving chase is Span, and the two outfielders collide. And Span comes up with the ball and says, "What's up? I made the call." 2 away. Kadire doesn't want to look at him. No, it was. Clearly screaming, "I got it."
Every once in a while, as a right fielder, you go to a ball thinking you see that Kadire is saying the same thing. Sometimes when you're yelling and he's yelling, you don't hear each other, and the next thing you know, a little collision. The good thing is when you walk back to your position that one of you caught it.
Well, this is the exact scenario in the third. The first 2 batters made out, then Derek Jeter worked a walk, Damon a walk, and Teixeira a 3-run home run. Pitch outside from Blackburn.
Paulie, can you really hear each other out there? Did you ever hear Big Bernie coming at you and yelling?
That's what's really good about playing with the same guy year after year, because you almost have an instinct that as soon as a ball's hit, that's his or that's mine. And, especially in big games when the crowd was noisy, you almost have to take your eye off the ball sometimes to see who's going to get it. Because, you're not going to hear voices. You might hear voices, but it might be the wrong one.
Grounded up the middle. Right there is Punto. And Blackburn has retired the last 7 Yankees in a row. And that one a 7-pitch inning for Blackburn. Denard Span says, "I got it." And he does. And a little tiny collision, but they're okay. We go to the 6th. And the dangerous Joe Mauer is going to lead off. Mauer's had 2 Monument Park home runs in the last 2 days. One last night and one here in the 4th inning. That pulled the Twins to within 3-2. So he leads off against Chamberlain. And that's Java's 88th pitch. It's inside, 1-0. Maurer now has a 9-game hitting streak, during which time he is 15 for 33. And a strike.
Also got a 2-game dead center field line drive stroke working too.
He's also driven in a run in each of his last 9 games, and that's the longest current streak in baseball. One. 2-1. What's the best way to pitch this guy, David?
I like it. He doubled up on breaking balls to get the count even. Missed with the first one. Now you're at 2-1. You got to give him different looks. Guys like this, there's no one way to get him out. You got to use all 4 quadrants, in and out, side to side, and up and down. Try to stay one step ahead. He's featuring a lot of off-speed pitches. That was a changeup up in the zone, but Maurer recognizes. He Flash, our ex-catcher and counterpart here at the Yes Network, talks about how guys take pitches, and Maurer, boy, you could just see him eyeballing pitches. He doesn't even offer at pitches that he doesn't like when he recognizes them early.
And he works a walk.
Not a dead pull hitter either, and when you're not a dead pull hitter, then you'll accept hitting the ball the other way at times. I think it's got to make it harder on the pitcher to try to get you out.
John Flaherty used to talk about when he caught throughout his major league career about that was the first thing you get instant feedback almost on every pitch, especially when hitters like Maurer take pitches. And reading Maurer's body language, he's locked in right now. And there's no one way to get him out. Might as well put this guy in that category as well.
Morneau's walked twice today. And Joba's pitch count is climbing. His high pitch total is 108 this year. And he's at 93 right now. 55 strikes.
This is why they say that those starters, you need that third pitch, that changeup, that curveball. You need to get your mix down. Obviously, you see Joba struggling here a little bit, falling behind 2-0, and that's what these two guys do to you. The M&M boys, the Minnesota version of the M&M brothers. They can push you right out of the strike zone, Paulie, but you need that third and fourth pitch, the third time through the lineup. We talked about it earlier, Michael, with Blackburn, the Minnesota starter. Different looks, and as a starter, that's why it's hard to be a 2-pitch pitcher as a starter. You can get away with it in the bullpen.
We've seen his changeup, and you've said it. I mean, it's a plus changeup. It's not like it's something I'm sure he's still working on, but I mean, when he throws a good changeup, it's a plus pitch.
Lost the strike zone in the count 3-0. He's walked 4. And 2 of the walks issued to Morneau. Now 1 pitch away from that. The Yankee bullpen starting to get busy. Jonathan Albaladeo. There's a strike to Morneau on the count 3-1. Nick Swisher having a running dialogue at first base with Maurer. But Nick would have a running dialogue with a wall. He likes to talk. (3-1). Who's the talkiest first baseman?
Frank Thomas used to like to talk. He got on first base. Jambi would talk a lot. I remember the first time I played in Toronto with Willie Upshaw, and I remember I got a hit. You know, when you get a hit as a young kid, you're a little giddy anyway, and you want to say something. I looked over, he wouldn't say a word to me. It was kind of an uneasy feeling because most first basemen don't talk to you a little bit.
Morneau with a deep drive, but it's in the park. Gardner's there. He'll make the catch for the first out. 6 strikeouts so far for Joba Chamberlain. Let's take a look. And you can mark these K's on your scorecard. And for a more delicious kind of K, try Green Mountain K-Cups from W.B. Mason. A perfect cup every time, a fresh cup when you want it. 6 strikeouts for Joba. A variety of pitches putting people away. The last one, fastball right down the middle of Brendan Harris. Here's Jason Kubel. So a nice comeback by Joba. 3-0 to Morneau. He ended up getting him. And there's a changeup, Kuba way out in front. That changeup is a pitch that Jabba did not throw when he was relieving. He didn't have to. He threw the fastball and the slider. That was it.
Great arm action. Good late finish to it, too. Got a little fade, little depth to it down on the way to lefties.
That was his 100th pitch of the day.
Back-to-back changeups there, and he just missed with that.
A good speed, too. Jabba in the low 80s with that changeup. He's topped out at 96 with his fastball today. Curveball's in the mid to upper 70s, and that slider's in the mid 80s. It's good variance.
There's a strike.
It's because of that variance that the Yankee organization feels that he does have starter stuff and projected him to be a starter when they drafted him.
Check to swing. Grounded towards second. Cano will get the force there. He thought about it, and they said, you know what? That's a tying run. So he took the chance, and they got Joe Mauer at second for the second out.
Well, we talked about Yusika Dyer's 0 for 2 on the day. We talked about Jabba in that third time through the lineup. I mean, that at bat, that was only one fastball at 95. The rest were changeups, and he finished him with a curveball. Really starting to mix it up a lot better now.
And a strike to Michael Kadire. Kadire's 0 for 2.
See, when he goes through these spurts where he looks like hitters have no chance, he really picks up his rhythm. I mean, he gets the ball, he sets up, he gets the sign. Doesn't look like there's much thinking involved. See, early in the game, you even say it a couple times, you know, he shook off 3-4 times, and now he's getting a signal and throwing in this ball right here. I mean, that's obviously was in the hitting zone at one point, but ended up a foot outside. I mean, those are the pitches that are unhittable.
You know, pitching backwards, he throws a couple breaking balls to get up 0-2. Now he's in a position to finish with the fastball if he likes, or take a shot with another slider in the dirt or down.
Yeah, I think he's going to the changeup. I mean, he's a fastball, a heater up.
That's classic pitching backwards. Generally speaking, you're taught to establish your fastball and throw it for strikes and then try to finish with off speed. When we talk about pitching backwards, third time through the order, you just reverse it. You start them off with breaking balls and try to finish with fastballs.
You know, Chop is one of the guys who can really benefit from throwing that ball up out of the zone. You know, you see Georgie almost standing when Posada's back there standing to get that real high pitch. And that can really wake up a hitter when you see that ball up in the zone. Also sets up for that breaking ball.
Well, his next pitch will be his 108th, as we mentioned. That's his season high. This is his third consecutive start with 100 or more pitches, so he's a legitimate starter now. They'd like him to be a bit more economical, obviously.
He's thrown his best fastball this sequence at 97 miles an hour.
And that one is punched out into right field. Coming on Melky, he makes the play. His 22nd pitch of the inning, and Jabba does not allow a run. No runs, no hits, no errors, one man left. We go to the bottom of the sixth. It's 3-2 Yankees. As the breaking ball is a strike. The question was, who will win the American League Central? You've been texting to 58772, and we'll give you the answer after the pitch. And the pitch is outside, so 1-1 to Johnny Damon. Your choices, and wow, 40% say the Twins, 34 the Royals. You've been texting, Coney, or what?
Got some family members in town.
Driven deep to right field.
Who are you going with, Coney? I'm going with the Tigers.
Yeah, I think, you know, as much as my UC Minnesota, I tell you what, watching Mauer and Morneau, it might change your mind. This Minnesota team plays the game well and plays it right. But Detroit just looked, you know, after the depressing year they had last year after high expectations, they really look like they're poised to play well. Cabrera settled in at first base. It's almost like when they traded for Miguel Cabrera, they didn't know what to do with him. They put him at third, flipped him to first. Now they know what to do with him. He settled in. Edwin Jackson was a great pickup from Tampa Bay, the right-handed pitcher. We talked about a little bit yesterday. He's 27 years old, easy gas in the upper 90s. I think he's the difference maker for Detroit. He's starting to figure it out as a pitcher.
Slow roller, going to be a very tough play. Damon beats it out, infield single. Once it got past Blackburn, you knew it was going to be trouble, and Brendan Harris didn't have much of a chance with Johnny running out of the left-handed batter's box.
From a hitter's point of view, there's not enough of these kind of hits, but every once in a while you roll over one, it just ends up in that dead zone where nobody can make a play on it. Johnny's had good enough speed to make it an easy single.
Blackburn made a good pitch, change up down on the way. Johnny rolls over it and just doesn't even hit it hard enough. If you're a pitcher, you're feeling a little sorry for yourself out there. You made a good pitch, and now you're in the stretch.
Pitch to Teixeira as a strike. Mark is 7 for his last 14. He's 2 for 2 today, a double to right center in the first and a home run to right center, a 3-run shot. That was in the third. Driven deep to right, but foul. A lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd, but he was a little too quick on that. He timed it perfectly, though, in the third. His 8th home run of the year. Foul back. He's being a lot more aggressive, which is what Tino Martinez spoke about in the booth last night, where, you know, he took his walks, but it seemed like he was always trying to get the perfect pitch to drive, and he found himself in a hole. But he seems to be jumping on pitches a little earlier in the count. Very wide stance from the left side.
It's like, you know, when he does get in trouble, it looks like that front hip kind of flies open and he tries to pull the ball. And his first pitch of this at bat was a fastball inside that he had no trouble pulling. So when he stays in there, he's plenty quick.
Quick enough to get a single right there. Now he's a triple away from the cycle. So a single for Teixeira, who's 3 for 3.
Again, 2 strike counts. You got that holdover. You see that ball running away, but if you stay in there long enough, arms are long enough to get on that outside ball, roll over it, pull it in the hole. See, that front hip comes out a little bit, but his hand stayed back. He's got those long arms so he can reach that outside pitch, but every once in a while those hips come out a little bit early, but boy, he does get extension. See those front arms?
That's Teixeira's first 3-hit game since September 24th of last year when he was with the Angels. So here's Alex Rodriguez. Obviously his timing is not yet back. He's 0 for 2. Grounded back to the mound, struck out looking. Foul back.
Minnesota's bullpen's quiet right now. Nick Blackburn still pretty decent pitch as far as his pitches. The 85th pitch coming up.
Count 0-2. Roger, what do you see from Arod, Paul?
You know, it just looks like he's trying to make a lot happen in every swing. Kind of the same thing that Teixeira has gone through in the past couple of weeks. But, you know, he is so quick and has so much power when he allows the ball to travel a little bit. It just looks like he's trying to force it right now. And as a hitter, you get frustrated and you just try to make it happen too quick.
Swings and misses for the first out. Well, the fans were pretty patient. They gave him a game and a half, and now they start to boo at that strikeout.
Well, he gets a first pitch slider, and that's the one to hit. He knows he missed that one. Then a sinker down and in, kind of pounds it. Another sinker down and in. Good late movement. You can see Arod swing right over that sinker.
You know, I keep going over the same point, but as you go back as a hitter, if you just watch that pitch by pitch, you said it, Coney, the first pitch was the pitch to hit. And then, you know, if you miss that good pitch, sooner or later that pitcher's going to make a good one. And that strike three, that's not a good hittable pitch. That's a pitcher's pitch.
Craig Breslow, warm for the Twins, one of their two left-handers. We saw Mijares yesterday. There's Nick Swisher. Nick is 0 for 2, 5 for his last 39. His average is dipped to 243.
See that good two-seam fastball, and then on the other side of the mound, you'll see Jabba throwing that hard four-seamer. But think about it, Coney. When I faced you early in your career, you were a four-seam guy with a good curveball, and then late in your career, much more two-seam fastballs. You just get more comfortable, or?
Yeah, you know, you lose a little velocity with age, you know, and you start backing off, learning that less is more. You go for location and movement.
That youthful four-seamer was fun, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I miss those days. You just rear back. Gary Carter used to set up right down the middle.
Right.
You know, and just let your natural stuff take over. Maybe when you got 2 strikes, then he moved to the inside or outside corner. Nowadays, you see catchers move to the inside or outside corner almost from the first pitch on.
Right.
You know, back in the 80s, those veteran catchers used to make you prove that you could throw strikes, and they'd set up right down the middle until you got ahead.
And a strike.
Cody was one of those mid-90s guys back in the day when everybody didn't throw mid-90s. You know, that was something.
See him get inside that ball, that natural tailing, running movement. And, you know, those sinker ball pitchers, you kind of see them clear that front shoulder a little quicker, or they're a little passive with their front shoulder to get inside the ball and make it run away from the lefty.
Grounded to first. Morneau goes the second one on to first. Beautifully turned. 3-6-1. That is not an easy double play to turn, and Nick Swisher just banks into the 3-6-1. A great feed by Morneau to Punto, and then Blackburn was at first covering, set up a good target for the shortstop, made the stretch, and we go to the 7th. issues and looks at the upcoming series against the O's and the Phillies. It's an all-new Joe Girardi show tomorrow at 5, only on Yes. And Joe Girardi will talk about this move as he makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. Your world delivered. Jose Veras got the win yesterday, came in, got one out in the 9th inning, and obviously he was the pitcher of record when the Yankees won the game in the bottom of the 9th. You see Veras' numbers, it's confounding because his stuff is so very nasty, but he's got to command it. And he'll face Brian Busher first. Yankees are leading 3-2. Bottom of the order, Busher, Redmond, and Punto. Another big crowd here at the stadium as the Yankees lead the major leagues in attendance and average attendance. 45,455. And the 1-0. Count 2-0.
I was talking to Lon Trost a little bit before the game, and he gave me an interesting thing that I didn't realize, that sometimes you come in here for batting practice and it doesn't look like there's a lot of people here, because in the old days in the old stadium everybody was down watching batting practice, where you could pitch there, strike one. You can have 30,000 people in this stands and still not have a lot of people down there because they're in the Great Hall, they're in the restaurants, they're touring the stadium. So there's so many other things going on before the game sometimes, because everybody wants to take in what's in this ballpark, that you don't get the feeling of the crowd until the actual game starts.
2-1. Count 3-1. Well, the place looks great, and as I mentioned, the highest attendance in baseball, the New York Yankees.
See the train going by right there, Paulie? Still get the view.
All right, so Jabba goes 6 innings. Give me your take on his performance today, David.
I think it's continued improvement. His first inning was much better, so whatever the experiment was warming up, it seemed to work in the first inning. He still got that innate ability to pitch himself out of jams, make big pitches. I thought his mix was better. His changeup, his 4th best pitch, is getting used more and more.
And there's the problem with Jose Veras right there as he starts off the inning with a walk.
And there were stretches where, for 4 or 5 batters, he was unhittable. He kept his fastball all game. You said the last couple of pitches were 96, 97. Had a good breaking ball, and he did. He threw some good changeups throughout the day.
Good changeups, and really his velocity. There's no question Jabba has always retained his velocity, and his best fastballs, as you said, Paulie, were the last 2 ones he threw that were 97 miles an hour. And to me, that's what I look at. He's got the ability to get into a groove and really get off strikeout runs, but at the same time, he still retains that velocity through the 100th pitch.
Pitch upstairs, and this one Veras gets into trouble, and the Yankee bullpen will get busy in a hurry as Cervelli goes out and talks. Phil Koch beginning to throw. Veras, the walk to Busher, his 11th walk in 15 and 2/3 innings, and that's not going to get it done no matter how good your stuff is.
Well, it's frustrating. You can see Joe Girardi and Dave Eiland's been frustrated. Jose Veras has such good stuff. That mid-90s, 95-mile-an-hour fastball and a knee-buckling curveball. It's just always a question of command with Jose.
And that one's punched in the right field for a base hit. Stopping at second is Busher. And Cabrera gets the ball in. So first and second, nobody out. And Punto is probably going to bunt. Carlos Gomez pinch run for Redmond.
Redmond's a good piece of hitting here. But Coney, this is where Yankee Stadium helps you sometimes as a pitcher, because this ball in a lot of ballparks is first and third because the right fielder is so shallow. You've got a first and second situation. A lot of people don't think about that, but as a right fielder, you get to the ball so quick playing in the shorter ballparks, and that guy from first can't go to third.
So Redmond with a big smile on his face. One thing I want to clarify about the attendance, they do not have the highest total attendance because they've only played 14 dates here. But the Yankees have the highest average attendance in Major League Baseball. Right now the highest total, the Philadelphia Phillies. Here's Nick Punto. Let's see if they have him bunting. The Yankees are expecting it.
Now here's what you have Gomez pinch running at first base, but you got Teixeira, the DH today. They're the ones that had the argument last night. So see, there goes your story, Michael. Just think how much you could go on the plot right here.
The fact that you even brought that up, I mean, you're really
impressed.
following this, yeah.
I'm in the game today.
And that bunted foul. And this is what Paul's talking about, this play. The first one, he thought that Gomez was running on the grass. This one, he clearly is. And Teixeira almost had his arm broken. He said that's the second time tonight. And Teixeira said after the game, once you can consider it a coincidence. He said second time he's doing it on purpose, and that's what really ticked him off. And that one is bunted up the third baseline. Cervelli fires to Gomez. Check that to Cano. Gomez moves to second. And another headfirst slide by Punto to no avail. One away. So the sacrifice successful, 2-4.
Good bunt here, Punto. You know, your sacrifice button, but all of a sudden you realize you got it in a perfect spot. Even when they expected a bunt, it becomes a close play. Conan, we talked about it last night. How that dive becomes part of the game going into first base.
Well, now the Yankees are going to bring in Phil Coke. Jose Veras gets some big-time boos as he walks off the mound. Coke comes in to face man. Stick around. And younger are going to receive a Yankee Stadium inaugural season bat courtesy of Yankees Banking, only at Bank of America. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Here's Phil Coke. Coke yesterday served up a home run to Joe Mauer.
It's an impressive home run because it's a pretty good pitch. I mean, not very often as a pitcher do you say that, you know, a guy just hit a bomb off me on a good pitch, but I mean, it shows you the type of hitter that Mauer is. But inside, hard fastball, kept his hands inside and drove it out to dead center field.
Now, ground ball to short or second will tie the game with Busher on third. The Yankees play the infield back at short and second. They're in at the corners. Now in the outfield, the Yankees have one good arm, and that belongs to Melky Cabrera. Both Gardner and Damon are below average arms in center and left, respectively.
Tony, as a pitcher, do you ever want these infields in? Do you want to take a chance and try to hold this with, or do you think it's too big of a gamble?
I like pitch, depending on the count.
later in the count.
Yeah, I think if you jump up, now he's 1-2. Now I think I take a chance. I'd like to see the infielders creep in a little bit right here because you've got some flexibility as a pitcher to maybe go down in the zone, expand the zone with the slider. Used to see Bobby Valentine do that when he was the manager of the Mets. In a 1-2 count in this situation, he would go ahead and bring the infield in, at least maybe halfway.
Playing in the outfield, I always wanted that hitter to earn that RBI, and I'd love to see the infield. Even if they got a cheap one, so what? But, you were giving yourself a chance as a pitcher, especially like if you're on the mound. One of your better pitchers can make a great pitch and get out without giving an out. I mean, you can roll over a ground ball to the second baseman here, and you got a tie game.
And obviously, the Yankees are in enough at the corners at third and first to make a play, but Jeter and Cano pretty much playing it straight up at second and short.
Now, we've also noticed in the first 2 games, Span's innate ability to foul off a pitch late. What can you throw him, David, that would counteract that, or does he just has great hand-eye coordination?
Well, I still say when you see guys that wait and spoil pitches, you got to pound them in. Especially Phil Koch, we saw him bust a fastball in. He's got a good fastball, in the low 90s and get it up to 94. I say bust him in right on his fist.
That one's popped up. That's not going to get it done. Cano makes the catch, and Busher stays at third. Big out for Phil Koch.
Shows you what I know, Michael. They go with the slider down and away and get a nice little pop-up. But, Paulie, that's what you're talking about. Span's just trying to spoil that pitch, and he gets out in front of it. He did not want to hit it fair. He was just trying to foul that pitch off. Koch gets a big pop-up. Now you got to guard against the letdown. You're worried about, obviously, a sac fly there or the tying run scoring from third with less than 2 outs. Now you really got to knuckle down. See, Dave Island's thinking the same thing. You're going to come out and talk to him. Guard against an emotional letdown here. It'd be a huge pickup for Phil Koch and the Yankees to get out of this jam.
There's no way they're talking about pitching carefully to Harris. You have Maurer on deck, who's a left-hander, but you don't care about lefty-lefty. Harris is the guy you're going after. Yankees are holding on to a 3-2 lead. We're at the top of the 7th inning on a Saturday afternoon in the Bronx. 1-0. Brian Busher leads off third. Carlos Gomez off second. A single would definitely give the Twins the lead. Count 2-0. Harris is 0 for 3 today. Struck out twice against Chamberlain. There's your strike. Count 2-1.
Looks like Harris was taken there. I mean, I would think that situation with Maurer on deck, you got to be really aggressive as a hitter. You know that he's not going to try to fool you there. He's got to try to get back into this count.
Chop foul outside of third. So now the count 2-2. Crowd of over 45,000 getting into it. Looking for a strikeout. Koch will take it out in any way he can get it right now. Driven into center field. Gardner's right there. Koch comes in and does a great job. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. So Koch picks up after Jose show as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. That's what Nick Blackburn's done so far in 6 innings. 91 pitches, 4 hits and 3 runs, 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. And right now he's the pitcher of record on the losing side as the Twins are trailing 3-2. All the Yankee damage on one swing, a 3-run home run by Mark Teixeira. Robinson Cano will lead it off against Nick Blackburn. And the pitch outside, 1-0.
Oh, you got any studio dates up there in Stanford with Bobby Lorenz?
They kicked me out of there.
You don't do the studio?
Food bill got too high, I think. There was something about being on the grass on the field that was much more fun. You know, you got out there on the field a little bit before the game started.
If they knew that that's what would get you up there, they would install turf. They really would in the studio.
Yeah. What's that? The potty pad. Have you seen that advertised on yes? A little strip of grass.
It's a ground ball to second. 1 away. So 1 down, and that'll bring up Melky Cabrera. Well, Nick Blackburn certainly pitched better than he has previously against the Yankees. In 3 career starts against the Yankees, Nick was 0-1 with a somewhat bloated 6.75 ERA, but he's done a nice job today. The Yankees' only damage came with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. 2 quick outs and a walk to Jeter, a walk to Damon, and then Teixeira hits a 3-run home run. 1-0. Soft ground ball to short. Punto. And there's 2 away. One of the starts that Blackburn made, it was a scary moment. And Bobby Abreu, who's now with the Angels, then with the Yankees, lined one right back at Blackburn. This was in the Metrodome. And Bobby really was affected. You see right away his hands to his head. And he was just worried about Blackburn. He could not believe what happened. Blackburn walked off under his own power. I think he had some teeth knocked loose. But he is okay. Count 1-0. You ever get hit in the head?
No, I never did. I never got hit in the head. You know, ironically, you do see sinker ball pitchers, right-handers pitching to lefties that get more shots back up the middle.
High fly ball, right field. Going back to Dyer in front of the track. Now he comes in and he puts it away. A nice, easy inning for Nick Blackburn as it retires the Yankees in order 1-2-3 on just 7 pitches. We go to the 8th, 3-2 Bombers. The 3 of us here in the booth for the Chevy Player of the Game. Now text your vote to 58772. Today's candidates are number 1, Jabba Chamberlain, number 2, Mark Teixeira, number 3, Joe Mauer, and number 4, Phil Coke, just for getting out of that 7th inning. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Now, Phil, could solidify his Player of the Game award if he can get through the 8th inning and navigate this part of the lineup, Mauer, Morneau, and Jason Kubel, and still hold on to the 1-run lead. Very big inning for the Yankees here. Mauer's 1 for 2. That won a home run, and he's walked. There's a strike.
You know, if you think about it, you can win the game in the 1st inning, the 7th. You know, you can win the game right here in the 8th inning. You're going through their guns right now, and if you can get the ball to Mariano in the 9th, getting through this inning, chances are you should wrap this one up.
Count 0-2.
With 2 good-looking sliders to start off this inning for Phil Koch. Good location, tight late break.
And the 0-2. Missed inside. Koch has become probably the most trusted reliever for Joe Girardi out of the Yankee bullpen. Obviously, other than Mariano Rivera, he feels very comfortable with him in big spots. Koch does not scare. First full season in the big leagues, but he's 26 years old. He's not a baby. He served a long apprenticeship in the minor leagues. The 1-2. 2-2. Missed a couple of games in Toronto with a sore lower back. Feeling better now. Came in with 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Got Denard Span to pop the 2nd. Brendan Harris to fly to center to end the 7th and hold the lead. Right back to Koch. So against the dangerous Mauer, 1 down. Mauer did what you want to do, hit it right back up the middle, but quick fielding by Koch. Here's Justin Morneau. Missed outside. You can see 94 miles an hour with the fastball. Live arm. Driven deep to right field. It is a tie game. Morneau does it again. A solo home run. It's a 3-3 match. Two yesterday and 1 today. The ball comes flying back out on the field, but it counts nonetheless. That's his 12th home run of the year.
Like a breaking ball that just kind of sat out over the plate. And, you know, as a left-handed hitter, you'll find out more sliders get hit out than fastballs just because you have a tendency to hang them. And once you get them out, you're so intent as a left-handed hitter to stay on the ball. When you hang a slider from a left to a lefty, it doesn't come back very often. I tell you what, I know we're not playing, Coney, but it's been a joy to watch these guys swing the bat just for these 2 days. I mean, they are great hitters, and obviously, you know, Mauer's not going to hit 440 this year. That's the kind of start he's off to, and Morneau's not going to hit 100 home runs, but they're both locked in now. They're both at their best, and it's fun to just sit here and watch what these guys are doing at the plate right now.
We could see Cervelli setting up a way for this slider, and what he gets caught with, instead of hitting the outside corner, he gets right down the middle. You know, that's kind of a situation on a 1-0 pitch. You're trying to throw a strike to Morneau, but you got to be careful. You got to make quality pitches, especially in Yankee Stadium with this short porch in right field. And Morneau, just, boy, what a swing. Just finished high. Just a lightning quick bat speed through the zone.
That's the 3rd home run that Koch has allowed to a lefty in his last 4 appearances. And he's got to get out those lefties. That's a big part of his role. Kubel check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. So he goes down on strikes for the 2nd out, and that home run also takes the win away from Jabba Chamberlain. So another no decision for him.
Coney, I know this is a tough question, but you've seen these guys, and they're both hot right now. And if you could face one of these guys, you know, to win or lose a game, do you see, I mean, which one would you pick?
Well, the thing is in this situation, late in the game, Morneau's the guy they're more worried about the power stroke, even though we've seen Mauer go deep to Monument Park twice. But Mauer's got more of a batting champion style of a swing. You know, Koch really pitched him tough, Mauer, in this last inning, and fastball away. You could see Maurer kind of break it down, almost get a base hit up the middle, and Koch makes a good play on it. Morneau's the guy that if you hang one or if you can give him something to yank, he's the power guy to me. Even though they both have power, Morneau's the guy that, I don't want to say he's a cripple hitter, but he's the guy in that situation. He's thinking one thing. He's looking to launch. Maurer's looking to get on base.
5th time this year that the M&M boys of the Minnesota Twins have homered in the same game. Yesterday was the 4th time, today the 5th.
But I think they're perfectly stacked, Paul. I think they got the order right. Maurer and then Morneau protecting Maurer. You know, I love that combination for Minnesota, and it's worked well this series.
And Kadire works a walk. Now, close game, and in all likelihood, the Yankees don't have to worry about Joe Nathan. He has pitched 4 days in a row, threw a lot of pitches yesterday and blowing the save. So in all likelihood, the Twins will have to go another route. Edouard Ramirez up for the Yanks. There's Brian Busher. A lot of lefties for the Twins. That's why Koch's so valuable in this series. Foul back.
See that 93-mile-an-hour fastball? I mean, that's a good pitch to hit, but it's got that little extra, so you can get away from it, and that's why he can be proud of that fastball. I mean, he's not going to get hurt from a lefty. Last night, Maurer had an unbelievable at bat driving that ball out. Especially first pitch in a count, when you really have engaged a lefty. I mean, it adds a few mile an hour to your fastball, just facing the left hand from the left side.
Well, there are the M&M boys of the Twins. The 0-2. Well, we mentioned that Nathan threw a lot of pitches yesterday, 27 in the 9th inning, so he's thrown 61 over the past 4 days. One-two. Line drive to right field. It's a base hit. They're going to have to field it quickly. Cabrera fields it in the corner. Kadire rounds third. They're sending him home, and he's going to score.
That's a missed cutoff man right there, and that's unbelievable gamble from the third base coach. But you make people do the exact. All they do is hit the cutoff man, and a good throw to the plate. When you miss the cutoff man, they missed a chance of getting him at home plate. Again, you get a fairly good relay. Melky's a great outfielder, but what he did right there is he overthrew the cutoff man, and right there you lost your. It's like he was almost going to throw to second base here and then kind of redirected his throw. The guy really has no chance of scoring here until he missed the cutoff man.
Scott Olger gambled, and the gamble paid off. And with the gamble, the Twins now lead 4-3 as Melky overthrew the cutoff man. Joe Girardi's going to go to his right-hander, Edouard Ramirez. That'll do it for Phil Koch. He's given up the lead. Yankees trail 4-3. Lorenz as he recaps all the action from this game against the Twins and looks around the rest of the major league. Plus, hear what the team has to say from the clubhouse. Kimberly Jones will do the honors there. It's the WB Mason postgame after the final out, only on Yes. Well, there are the M&M boys.
The Twins. Want to name the franchise after the Twins.
Well, Morneau with a big blow started this inning, and now the Twins have the lead. Edward Ramirez against Jose Morales. Count 1-0. Shattered bat. Kind of sheared off a part of the top.
Only looking back at the two hits that Coke gave out that really hurt him. Morneau was a slider. And then he got hit on a slider again. Both pitches kind of hung out over the plate.
Yeah, you get caught in between trying to throw one for a strike or trying to spot it and get it down and away. And sometimes when you're just trying to get that get me over, get a strike one, is the one that flattens out a little bit. Both of them were hit hard. See, this is a 1-0 pitch right here, and you can see that ball just, he's trying to get a strike 1-0, and that's the wrong guy to try to get a strike with a slider with. It's almost probably like the hangers are middle away. If you're going to hang one, almost like started at him in front door. You know, lefties have a hard time keeping that fair. The hanging breaking ball now is almost middle away, whereas in 20, 30 years ago, the hanging breaking ball was on the inner half.
I mean, if you hang that ball, you strike the ball at him, it'll actually freeze you a hitter for a minute or for a moment. You know, that ball's in the strike zone and you hang it. That's the ball that gets crushed.
Two-one. And the count 3-1. Twins carrying three catchers. Morales, Redmond, and obviously Mauer. Mauer's the DH today. And the 3-1. And he walks Morales. So the Yankee bullpen has not distinguished itself today. Yesterday was outstanding. But Veras didn't do the job today. Phil Coke didn't do the job. And Edward Ramirez comes in and walks the first batter that he faces. Pitch to Punto as a strike.
The thing, you look at Jabba, and what's frustrating is when you throw a good game, which, you know, Jabba did today, he threw good enough to get a win. You've got to rack up some wins, because I don't understand. I don't care how good a pitcher you are, you're going to have some bad outings, and those always seem to accumulate as losses. So when you're pitching well, you got to accumulate some wins, and the no decisions don't help, because, you know, down the road, you know, as a pitcher, you start pitching to your record. I mean, you take the mound when you got a winning record, and you know, that's confidence.
It shows you the importance of trying to get through 7 innings, you know, 5, 6 innings. Tough chance as a starter to hang around and expect to get 9 outs made for you to retain that win. And Nolan Ryan, who's taken over the reins down in Texas, is building that philosophy in the minor leagues. He's teaching those guys, we need one more inning out of you guys in terms of his minor league starters, so that when they get to the big leagues, they're conditioned not to go 6, not a quality start of 6 innings, 3 earned runs, but to get through at least 7 innings.
I don't know how many years ago it was, but a respected writer in Detroit, John Lowe, I'm sure you remember him, David. He came up with a quality start, and that seems to be acceptable now. And if you break down what a quality start is, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, it's a 4.50 ERA.
I thought it was 7 innings. Tony and I were talking about it yesterday. I thought the quality start thing was 7 innings, and Tony told me through the 6th inning yesterday.
Popped up. Cano backpedals, and he's there and will make the play for the final out of the 8th. But the Yankees have given the lead away. 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 4-3 Twins. Boys, and it was the M&M Boys.
Yeah, these guys, we talk about it over and over again, the way they hit, and they're two good hitters, and they're two hot hitters. Both of them. This first two games have shown their power and their hitting abilities.
48 years ago, right across the street, the Yankees M&M Boys hit many homers on the same day, and now Maurer and Morneau, 2 days in a row, have done it here at the new stadium. Hideki Matsui is pinch hitting for Cervelli. Blackburn still in there. In his first 3 innings, Blackburn threw 59 pitches. In the last 4 innings, 39 pitches. Pitch outside.
Such a big thing, Coney. Even when you're down by 1 run, you're just kind of cruising through, and all of a sudden you get the lead, and then you see pitchers just start pitching different. I never understood it, but it must be that thing of, now I got the lead, I got to pitch differently.
Very much so. You know, you see a lot of pitchers who pitch much better when they're down a run or down 2 runs. It is a different animal when you do have that lead. You look over your shoulder and you get a double barrel in the bullpen going behind you.
Ever look out in the bullpen, Cody, and see somebody up, you're like, are you kidding me?
That one's driven out to left center field and deep, giving Chase Kubel on the run. It's over his head and bounces over the wall for a double. A pinch hit double for Matsui as he goes the other way.
Good piece of hitting. I mean, coming off the bench, we've talked about how hard this is. You see that ball got up. You know, you haven't seen Blackburn miss too many pitches up in the zone, but he missed up there. Matsui didn't try to pull it. Drove the ball to left center field.
Well, you're right, Paulie. I mean, we saw Blackburn over the last couple innings where his sinker was getting better, down and heavy. As you see Matsui get congratulations. And so far this inning, everything's up and flat.
Well, Joe Girardi with that one move has to burn 3 players. Matsui pinch hit, Ramiro Pena will pinch run, and then they'll have to bring in Kevin Cash to catch in the 9th inning because they're not sure that Matsui could score on a single. But he does get the double, so they'll take that move. Here's Derek Jeter. Obviously, he wants to hit the ball to the right side. He might even bunt.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Jeter push a bunt to the right side.
Thought about it, takes a pitch outside.
Yeah, you got to figure in the Yankees dugout, they figure if they tie this game up with Nathan not available today, the chances are, well, you tie this game up, you're going to win. So you got Mariano and you got a better chance of scoring against the Minnesota bullpen.
You got Morneau moved in now. Now you've got the infielders kind of moving. You got him moved in even just by faking that bunt. Now he's got an opportunity to go ahead and slash.
Inside. They're checking to see if he offered. The umpire said no.
Jeter bunting all the way. Well, that's what I tried to do, pitching too. You try to bust him in, try to get a pop-up in that situation. You know Jeter tried to bunt the first pitch, he's doing it again. Now with a 2-0 count, it'll be interesting to see if they take it off.
It's funny, when you get the bunt sign, you do remember you're supposed to bunt strikes. You don't bunt anything, you just bunt strikes.
And he bunted a strike. Beautiful bunt by Jeter. Blackburn slips, but they get Jeter at first. So the sacrifice successful. 1-3. The tying runs at third.
We talk about everything that Jeter does to help teams. I mean, this is a good sacrifice fund. But how many players do you see that are superstars? They get the bunt sign, don't get it done. Jeter does everything he can do to help this team win.
See, Blackburn slid all the way. That was a planned design play by Blackburn. Showed some athleticism there. Goes right into the pop-up slide, picks it up barehanded, makes a nice throw.
Twins bring the infield in. Damon, a chance to tie the game. Strike.
I think Gardenhire figures the same thing. If they tie this game, chances are they're going to beat our bullpen. So You know, why not take a chance, especially on the road? That's kind of the rule of thumb to try to win the game. That's the pitch he's going to have to get from the umpire to get Damon out, to keep that ball in the infield. If he has to elevate that sinker, it makes it real hard to keep the ball in the infield.
Tapped right back to Blackburn. Damon doesn't get it done. That is a big out for Nick Blackburn. And Pena has to stay put at third. Well, it's time for the Land Rover drive of the game, and with Mark Teixeira due up, it only makes sense that Mark Teixeira perform the Land Rover drive of the game.
Well, after a couple walks, puts a pitch out over the plate. 3-run homer. At the time, gave Jabba Chamberlain the lead for the game. Ends up being the drive of the game.
Teixeira's 3 for 3. Pitch outside. Now, it almost seems blasphemous, and Paul brought up a great point last night. I mean, would you pitch around Teixeira? Because it's Alex Rodriguez on deck, but is it yet Alex Rodriguez? You know what I mean? It's not the same hitter that everyone fears.
I agree 100%, and I think that, you know, you go over scouting reports, and you're going over scouting reports of Alex Rodriguez over his career or last year. I mean, you got to realize where he is offensively this time of year, and don't.
Line drive, base hit, another big hit for Mark Teixeira. So they go after Teixeira, and he ties the game with a single.
And again, these are hits because Alex Rodriguez is hitting behind Mark Teixeira, and it's a big hit, and it's good to see him turning this thing around right now. Again, that's a pretty good pitch. Ball sinking away. Maybe up just a little bit, but Teixeira is staying on the ball today. He's not flying out just as quick. Big hits breed confidence, and I think that you're seeing the turning point in Mark Teixeira's year.
9 for his last 16, and some big, big hits out of those 9. So that's going to do it for Nick Blackburn. How about Teixeira? 4 for 4. The game's not even over. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning as Ron Gardenhire will go to his bullpen. Stick around. Coverage will start at noon with batting practice today, presented by Audi, and then the pregame show. Then David Cohn, Paul O'Neill, and I have all the action. Twins and the Yankees tomorrow starting at noon, only on Yes. So Blackburn's done, 7 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He threw 111 pitches. He can't win, but he can lose. The runner at first, his responsibility. Matt Guerrero against Alex Rodriguez. 1-0.
I'll tell you whose stock has gone up is Tino Martinez, right?
That's right.
Bring in Tino Martinez to have a little conversation with some guys, and all of a sudden, you know, Teixeira probably had some of the better at-bats he's had all year. once in a while, when you just sit down and talk to somebody you respect, and I'm sure Teixeira watched Tino and respects what he did in the game, Tino better unplug his phone. He might be getting more phone calls here.
And the 1-0. There's a strike now. Teixeira with his 4 for 4 has raised his average from 213 to 238. So 25-point jump. So he's getting about over 6 points per hit.
Pretty good. They add up fast when you get hot.
The 1-1. And that one gets away from Morales, and moving to second is Teixeira.
Well, this is a big play, obviously. Curveball right in the dirt. Those are the ones with that spin on him. You can see, turnover. He turns over the glove, tries to get there, but he almost doesn't smother it. It's as if the ball just kind of, with that spin on that curveball, just crawled up his arm and got away from him. Now you got Teixeira in scoring position.
Arod 4 for 6 against Guerrero with 3 home runs. Obviously, that scored a wild pitch, moving Teixeira into scoring position. And a breaking ball on 3-1. Tough league. Count 3-2.
Almost tough here, Paulie, to double up with the breaking ball. 3-1, you drop a slider in for a strike. As you can see, they can't agree on what they want to do here.
I just think that, and this is no knock on Alex Rodriguez. He's one of the better hitters to ever play the game. But I think the Minnesota Twins are pitching to Alex Rodriguez right now, the name, and not the guy who has just gotten back and is hitting 120. I mean, it's sometimes you got to take a chance, but you don't want to answer questions about getting beat by superstar players, and that's the problem sometimes.
3-2. He threw him another breaking ball, but missed inside. Let's take a look at that at bat in depth.
Slider down off the plate, ball 1. Right back with it, gets the call, strike 1. Back down in the dirt. Teixeira gets the second. Another slider just off the plate. 3-1, there's the strike. And will he throw a fastball? No. Kind of breaks around the plate. Really close pitch.
So now the hero baton is passed to Nick Swisher. He's 0 for 3 today. He's slumping. He's 5 for his last 40. His average is down to 241. Wrapped into a double play his last time, up first and second with 1 out. There's a strike.
Once in a while, as a hitter, you're going through a tough time like this, and you can almost play a mind game with yourself. You go up to the plate, you know you feel horrible, you're not swinging the bat, but you tell yourself in the back of your mind you're due for a big hit. And this is a situation that sometimes that can happen.
The 0-1. Morales saves that one to count 1-1.
Amazing how many mind games you can play with yourself out there during the season.
Along with Paul O'Neill and David Cohn, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball here on the YES Network. We thank you for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. Another good game. It's 4-4, bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees trying to notch their 13th come from behind victory of the year.
Look at this. This is a good pitch to hit. This looked like he tried to do a little bit too much with it. Be a hero sometimes and hit that 3-run homer instead of just shooting that ball to the left, getting that guy in from second base.
Very odd use of the bare hand by Morales. He kind of wraps it around his right thigh. Usually they put it behind their backs. but he'll give the sign. It almost looks like he's holding his leg up. Count 2-2.
We haven't seen a lot of fastballs the last two at-bats from this pitcher, both to Arod and Swisher right here. So if I'm Swisher on a 2-2 count, I got to make this guy beat me with a fastball. I'm guarding against that breaking ball. Definitely, sitting off speed and maybe trying to fight off the fastball.
2-2. And now that gives the Yankees a bit of a break, because the runners will be going on 3-2 with 2 outs. It might make a force on a tough play difficult. It might give Teixeira a better chance to score on a single to the outfield.
Now, especially as you saw him, he just didn't throw that last fastball with much conviction, Paulie. His 3-2 count here.
Almost hoping something good will happen instead of making it there.
You got to be expecting something off speed, probably that curveball or that slider.
Teixeira off second. Arod off first. 2 men out, bottom of the 8th. Game tied at 4. The runners will be going on the payoff pitch. Guerrero sets. And the pitch. High fly ball, right field. It's in the park. Dyer will put it away for the final out of the inning. But Mark Teixeira with another big hit. A 2-out single to tie the score. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left. We go to the 9th. Every player of the game is voted on by you, the fans, and the 3 of us here in the booth. Who is it, David?
Well, it is Mark Teixeira. There's the double. When you end up 4 for 4, Paulie, with 4 RBIs, there's the homer. He's got a homer and a double. Here comes the single through the hole. Now you're 3 for 3 and 3 RBIs. That's not enough unless you get this last one to tie the ball game up. You got to go 4 for 4 with 4 ribbies in order to have a big day at Yankee Stadium. And Mark Teixeira's been waiting for that kind of day all year long.
Well, he's driven in all the Yankee runs with that 1 swing, the 3-run home run, then the RBI single in the 8th inning. Mariano Rivera takes over, the Yankees' 5th pitcher. Tie game, there's no save opportunity. It's after the 9th inning, so you bring in your closer at home. Tie game, top of the order for the Twins. And Span tries to bunt, and bunts foul. We told you yesterday that the Twins, after taking batting practice, just feel that this is a slow infield, and also with Arod maybe compromised after the hip surgery at third, they plan to bunt a lot. They've tried.
Mariano Rivera on the mound is a tough guy to bunt on. He's very athletic, quick as a cat, bouncing off the mound.
If you remember, I'm sure you guys do, you were there, back in '96, he kind of earned his reputation, Mariano did, against the Twins. Came in and dominated the Twins at Yankee Stadium, and after the game, Tom Kelly said there should be another league for this guy. And he was unbelievable that year. He turned the Yankee games into a 6-inning affair. He would pitch a scoreless 7th and 8th, and then Wetland would come in and get the save in the 9th. And they rode that all the way to the World Series.
It was almost like as a fielder, you get the 7th and 8th inning off because Mariano was dominating, but Wetland would come in and make the 9th inning interesting. You know, you get that 3rd out with bases loaded with 2 men on.
Count 2-2.
Yeah, Charlie Hayes got a couple shots to make that play over by third base to end it, didn't he? Well, Wade Boggs was on that police horse before you knew it, too.
That's right.
Strike 3, Span down looking. Got to remember, everybody, the WB Mason postgame coming up after the final out. Join Emmy Award-winning Bob Lorenz as he recaps all the action from this game against the Twins and then looks around the rest of the majors as well. Plus, hear what the team has to say when they talk to Kimberly Jones at the clubhouse. It's the WB Mason postgame after the final out. It's only on Yes. Here's Brendan Harris. Punched out the other way, foul.
Big plans tonight, Michael? Saturday night?
Play by ear.
Wow. Said that with good intentions. I can see that.
Yeah. Never want to tip your hand, Paul. The 0-1. Grounded out to second. Cano. 2 down. Now this is coming up a big league matchup. Joe Mauer, a great left-handed hitter, 2-time batting champion against arguably the best relief pitcher in the history of baseball. And Mauer's had a good 2 games since coming back from the back injury in spring training. He's gotten off to an unbelievable start. And he has 2 hits and 3 at-bats against Rivera.
It's where somebody will come up to you from the media like you used to do. It's like, you must really like to hit Rivera. You're 2 for 3 off him, and you're thinking, no, I really don't. I just probably got a couple of leaders.
Whoever thought that you would be part of the media? Here you are.
You know, I get reminded every day when I put that little badge on, that credential we got there. It says media at the bottom. There's something about that. You got one of those, Cody?
I do.
Yeah.
There's a strike.
You know, Paulie, it helps, you know, around the stadium if you're nice to the security people.
Is that it?
Say
nice. You didn't hear my story yesterday. I was helping him pick up lemons. The guy dropped his lemons. I'm trying to help everybody. Oh, I was asking if he wanted me to squeeze him for it.
The 1-1. Oh, he tied him up on the cutter in the count 1-2.
Rivera's got a little extra on this pitch. You know, since Mauer stepped in that box, he's gone up a notch with his velocity and a little more click on that cutter.
You've heard that old thing that good pitching beats good hitting. Well, that was evident right there. See ya.
And right there. That is an impressive 9th inning for Mariano Rivera. Strikes out Span looking. Gets Harris to ground to second. And strikes out Joe Mauer looking. Can the Yankees win it in the bottom of the 9th? Stay tuned.
hosted by Michael Kay. The singer-songwriter looks back on his career, including his early days growing up in New York and meeting Joe DiMaggio. Center Stage, Paul Simon, premieres Wednesday night at 11, only on Yes.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be Matt Guerrero against Cano, Cabrera, and Gardner. Each team with 4 runs, each team with 6 hits. It's been an errorless game for both. And there's a strike.
The Gardner? You get a nickname when you have a big number.
I don't have a nickname for him. Gardner.
Didn't you say the Gardner?
No, then Gardner.
Oh, I thought you said the Gardner. I thought you gave him a nickname.
We'll listen over on the radio side for the nicknames.
Yeah.
There's a fly ball to left as Canoa's retired. And that's going to bring up the king of the walk-off, Melky Cabrera. He had one against the A's, had one last night. 4 career walk-off hits, all since '06, and the most by any Yankee over that span. Grounded to first. Morneau will take it himself. And there's one away. And that will bring up the Gardner. Two down with Gardner coming up. Now, here's an interesting story. We told you a story yesterday. Gardner visited a children's hospital, and a little girl gave him a wristband and asked him to hit a home run. He said he would if she would battle through her problems. She had waited 107 days for a new heart, a heart transplant. And she got it today, and she's undergoing surgery right now. And there's a strike to Brett Gardner. And the 0-1. Quickly 0-2.
It's so hard to go up there in this situation and not let home run enter your mind, especially when you've hit one in the last couple of days. But if you're Gardner here, you got to think real small. I got to get on base somehow. Then I can steal second. Then it only takes a single, and it can happen if you stay that way. You start thinking home run. Next thing you're grabbing your glove and running out to the outfield.
Grounded just foul. And the 0-2 to Gardner. Foul tip to stay alive. On deck is Kevin Cash. Four game, bottom of the 9th. Second game of this 4-game set, the 0-2. Slap to short. Right there is Punto. And we are going to extra innings. Free baseball here at Yankee Stadium. Bonus Cantos as we go to the 10th. Yankees and the Twins are knotted at 4. On your computer with MLB.tv, the ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 out-of-market games per week live on your computer, as well as those you missed on demand. For more details, visit Yankees.com, where baseball's always on. Mariano Rivera threw just 11 pitches in the top of the ninth. Another big matchup. It's Mariano against Morneau, and Morneau fouls it off.
Well, this is at bat, Coney, that I think you have to throw that cutter in every pitch. There's no reason to try to work with that backdoor cutter, because that's the pitch that he can handle away. That ball right there, you can do absolutely nothing with as a left-handed hitter.
In the 8th inning, Morneau against Phil Koch. And that tied the game. Eventually, the Twins took the lead later on in the inning on an RBI double by Brian Busher. The 0-2. Tried to go outside. Cash is behind the plate now.
I think Mo just, let's waste that pitch. We'll go right back in.
Brett Tomko warming. Upstairs and count 2-2.
Well, I think you're right, Paulie. Those last two pitches away weren't thrown with a lot of conviction, almost as if Mariano was trying to guide it in there. See if he goes right back in. See Cervelli setting up away again.
Knocked down by Mo and probably cost himself an out. Jeter was right there to make the play, so Morneau reaches on an infield single.
Again, the pitch that he can kind of bailing out, looking in, just put it in play. And you're right, Michael. Mo didn't come up with it. Got Morneau a base hit.
You see, he says to Jeter, "That's my bad." Another tough lefty hitter, Jason Kubel, fouls it back. You can see Jason's off to a great start. With his single in the second, extended his hitting streak to 5 straight. Broken bat. Looper into shallow center. It's going to dunk in for a base hit. That's a typical hit against Mariano Rivera. And the Twins are set up first and second. Nobody out.
Good cutter. You see Cervelli give that high target. Just down a little bit, but in off the plate. Good cut to it. You see Kubel just fights it off. Muscles it. You hear the sound of the bat.
Strong enough bat to get it out of the infield.
Here's Michael Kadire with runners on first and second. Now, you'd like to say the perfect for the Yankees to get a double play. It's hard to hit into a double play off Mo, because usually you get jammed and the ball's not hit that sharply, especially on the ground.
I'll tell you one thing, though. Mo would not be a bad guy to hit and run off, because he's around the plate with every pitch. And if you get jammed and hit a ground ball, who cares? You got the guys over anyway.
Strike. Mariano has only gone more than 1 inning in one of his 14 appearances this year prior to today. His season long, as far as distance goes, was 1 1/3. He's not at that point. He has yet to get an out here in the 10th. 1-1. Fouled away. Now 1-2. And the pitch. Popped up. Going to be a tough play with the sun. Cano's there, and he'll put it away. One down. Here's Brian Busher, who had that double. That gave the Twins a short-lived lead in the 8th inning.
Coney, they've been pretty consistent in this situation. First and second, the bunt, get that guy over to third, which they decided not to do here in the bottom or the top of the 10th.
It kind of shows you, Joe Girardi put some importance, trying to get the Yankees on a roll. Mariano out for the 2nd inning here. Joe Girardi talked all spring long about that expectation to win every day, and they're trying to get to the situation where they get on a roll. They've been waiting for it all year, especially at home. You see Mariano with cash catching, perfect location above the belt, cutting in, boring action.
This will be Mariano's 25th pitch.
It's funny because they've had a couple big wins the last couple of days, but I still don't think this team, and they come into this series at like 17-17, like 500 team, has found out what their personality is, how they're going to win, who are they going to be the big parts of this team to get on a roll, as you call it, Coney. And it's about that time in the year that you start looking for that type of team and that type of winning, how you're going to go about it. And so far it's been with a lot of home runs and things like that, and you're going to have to add something to win that 8 out of 10, that 20 out of 25.
And the 2-2. That one is looped into center field. Coming on is Gardner. He makes the play. 2 outs. Gardner got a good jump, and he's got outstanding speed and ran it down easily for the 2nd out.
I'll tell you what, that's a tough play too, because that ball stayed up in the air, but you end up running straight on with it. And again, late in the innings, you got to play, most of the time you don't want anything hit over your head. With a man on second base, you can't let those bloopers get in front of you, so you're kind of in a catch-22 as an outfielder right here.
Here's Jose Morales, who walked in the 8th inning against Edouard Ramirez. Strike.
Well, Paulie, we've seen Gardner play a shallow center field, and that's more of a trend we've seen throughout the league. Andrew Jones down in Atlanta for years played a very shallow center field. Gardner, that one really paid off. Good defensive positioning.
Slow roller. Mariano off the mound. Flips to Swisher, and he does a great job to get out of the jam. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. Yankees have another chance to win it with the bottom of the 10th coming up. Trying to win their 4th game in a row. 4-8-0 for the Twins, 4-6-0 for the Yankees. And for the Yankees, it'll be 9-1-2 in their order against Matt Guerrero. Guerrero came on in the 8th, pitched the 1-2-3 ninth. Now he's going to face Cash, Jeter, and Damon. If anybody gets on, Mark Teixeira gets another shot He is 4 for 4 today, and he's accounted for all 4 Yankee runs, a 3-run home run, and an RBI single in the bottom of the 8th to tie the game. Pitch outside to Kevin Cash and count 1-0. Cash so far 1 for 7 since being called up with the injury to Molina. Hoping to get Posada back sometime next week. Cash fouls it back. Molina's not that far along. We're also hoping to get Brian Bruni back at some point next week as well, as the wounded slowly march back.
Last year, Kevin Cash in Boston was Tim Wakefield's guy. Carried that knuckleball catcher Smith with him. He was the guy who handled Wakefield last year. Boy, you talk about a guy that just keeps going, huh? Wakefield, pretty amazing career he's had up in Boston.
The 1-2. Outside 2-2.
Yeah, it's funny. He had a career before he got there, and he was almost, giving up on. And then he's done an unbelievable job up there, starting. He's had huge starts, been in playoffs. He's been in the bullpen. He's done everything our organization can want.
Right in on the hands and line foul. That's all he could do with that pitch. Well, this is Guerrera's season high pitch count. He's at 25. Alfredo Aceves warming to the Yankees if there is an 11th. And Cash swings and misses. 1 down here in the 10th. Bob Shepard brings Derek Jeter up to the plate. Derek today is just 0 for 1. Walked twice, had a sac bunt, so only 1 official at bat. Guerrera works from the extreme first base side of the rubber. Foot barely on the rubber. Now, what's the purpose of that, David?
Well, what that helps you do is a lot of pitchers who throw across their body, if they're on the first base side of the rubber, now if you throw a little bit across your body, you're aiming right down the middle for home plate, and then your natural movement can take over. Or conversely, if you're on the third base side and you throw across your body, you get into a situation where you're crossfiring.
High drive, left center field, but that's in the park. Kubal's there, so is Span, but Kubal makes the play for the second out. Jeter just missed it.
I think G took a pitch there, and he was going to try to turn on, and you're right. He got a pitch in. Good pitch to hit. Every once in a while, you just don't center the ball. Everything was perfect except where he hit the ball.
Well, with the lefty Johnny Damon due up, Ron Gardenhire talks things through with Guerrera. And he'll take the ball and signal to the bullpen. So we'll step aside for just a moment. Breslow, one of the two left-handers in his bullpen. This will be Breslow's 15th game. 10 hits and 12 and a third. A lot of walks. 9 strikeouts, a 5.84 ERA. And it'll be Breslow against Damon. Damon's 1 for 3, an infield single, a walk, and a run scored. And the pitch outside, 1-0.
You know, Johnny Damon, he just keeps going, Paul. You know, over the last 10 years, he's 5th most active in hits. Derek Jeter's first. With 1,769 hits over the last 10 years.
Popped up behind the plate. Morales makes the play, and we go to the 11th inning as the Twins retire. The Yankees in order. In the bottom of the 11th, Bart Teixeira will lead off, and Damon's saying, yeah, I was a little too out in front. On the center field scoreboard in the booth, getting a nice hand from everybody here at the stadium. They just showed some highlights of David's career, and of course finishing up with the perfect game. That's got to make you feel good, right? Nice hand.
That's great that they remember. You know, the worst feeling you have as a ball player, Michael, is that if people stop asking you for autographs and you're what? You did who? You're who? You know, you never want to be forgotten, Paulie.
Who'd you play for, huh?
What'd you do?
My daughter asked me, she told me, you must have been bad in Cincinnati. I'm like, well, why is that? She goes, nobody knows you.
Yankees call on Alfredo Aceves. 6 1/3 innings. He's got 8 strikeouts and a 2.84 ERA. He was starting in the minor leagues, and he started last year as well toward the end of the season. And he gets people out. He knows how to pitch. So Joe Girardi brings him in here in the 11th inning, and it'll be 9-1-2 in the Twins order against Aceves. Nick Punto starts it off. There's a strike on the bunt. Count 0-1. Again looks for a bunt and takes it inside. Breaking ball strike. Fly ball right field. Melky Cabrera right there. And there's one away. Many in the crowd still here as we go to the 11th inning. 45,455. And here's Denard Span. Denard's 0 for 4 with a walk and a stolen base. Reached on a fielder's choice in the third. Count 1-0.
You know, Aceves has got a chance to really solidify himself, Paulie. I mean, he's made a good impression. Last year he did. He got sent down to AAA out of spring training. Now he's back.
Tough hop there for Cano, 2 away.
And he's a versatile guy. You know, he's got starter type stuff, 4 pitches. He can fill a lot of different roles. Yankees didn't really have a long man coming out of spring training. He's got a chance to really establish himself right now and get a stranglehold on a big league job.
This is a big out for Aceves because you get Harrison up to deal with Mauer. And you hope the next time you see Mauer is tomorrow afternoon. So Brendan Harris so far is 0 for 5. I would say extra inning games probably stink for a player, Paul. If they're 0 for 6, 0 for 7. Ooh.
Well, you know, you're getting that one. You can still be a hero in baseball. You can go 1 for 6 and still be a hero. That's the thing. You might get that one at bat that ends the day. But I tell you, if you go home 0 for 6 or 0 for 7 with a loss, it's a tough day.
The 0-on. Check swing, foul back, 0-2. And the pitch. Smothered there by Cash. Harris struck out looking, fly ball to right, struck out looking, fly ball to center, and grounded to second. And the 1-2. Hit sharply and grabbed there by Jeter. He does the 360, fires, and a scoop by Swisher. Nice play on both ends. A 10-pitch inning for Aceves. Jeter goes a long way to spear the ball up the middle. He does the 360, and he gets one off in the dirt. But Nick Swisher calmly picks it out of the air as we go to the bottom of the 11th. The Yankee end, Mark Teixeira, 4 hits today. That ties a career high. 4 RBIs. His 14th career 4-hit game. He's never had a 5-hit game. Breslow deals inside. A double in the first, a 3-run home run in the third, a single to right in the 6th, and the game-tying RBI single to right in the 8th inning. Average at 238. Started the day at 213. And the 1-0.
Coney, you gave him an award for being 4 for 4. You better bring out something else.
Yeah, you know,
just in case. Huh?
He was 3 for 3, and that wasn't enough. He had to go 4 for 4 to tie the game, and that's not enough right now. He's got to get on base or do something.
Now he's a triple away from the cycle, and the last Yankee hit for the cycle way back in 1995, Tony Fernandez did it. On deck is Alex Rodriguez. Do you green light to share on 3-0 to try to end the game with one swing? Taking for a strike. Last triple a couple of years ago in 07. And he works a walk. Now this might be baseball sacrilege, and I might be way out there. The way Alex is hitting, would you ask him to bunt here?
No, I mean, it's, I think you said it. I mean, you wouldn't ask your superstars this day and age to lay down a bunt because, you know, it can all change. And we've seen Teixeira in the last couple of days have a couple of big hits, and it seems to have really turned him around where, you know, you're putting Alex Rodriguez in the same position. You know, a big hit right here might turn him around.
And there's a strike. Alex is 0 for 3.
I don't know if A-Rod knows the bunt side. What do you think?
I don't know if he knows how to bunt, Paulie. I think you're right. I think he let him swing the bat, obviously.
The 0-1. And that's why. There it goes. See ya. A walk-off. 2-run home run for Alex Rodriguez. And the Yankees win 6-4.